Hey, everybody, welcome to the Last Call Whiskey Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Travis.
Hey, it's Sean, the Dark Cloud.
We're three friends from Western Canada that love all things whiskey. Tonight, we will be trying the Signatory North British 15, Gordon and MacPhail Glenburgie from 2008, and the North Star Caol Ila 18 year. Welcome to the show.
Last Call Whiskey Podcast, the best whiskey podcast there ever was, probably. Last Call Whiskey Podcast, the best whiskey podcast there ever was, probably.
One lineup.
So, all three independent bottlers kind of plays on the theme for tonight. I mean, the whiskeys kind of dictate our theme each month, but this one just happens to be three independent bottlers, so we're going to lean into that a little bit tonight.
Three independent bottlers, and I'm not going to reveal anything. I'm not saying anything, but my pregame whiskey, because these are all cask strength, independently bottled whiskeys, I went with a cask strength Manickmore 16-year single cask nation keg and cork cask. That's my pregame. I'm pregaming with a 56.1% first fill Spanish oak Oloroso cask.
Ooh, I haven't tried that one. It sounds like it is really good, though.
It's close to as sherried as the number 2 tonight, I think, but we'll see later on. Anyways, what are you guys drinking?
I started off with Turconnell 15, the Madeira cask. Love this whiskey. Nice, easy one to get going for the night.
And I had a dram about an hour ago of just a 20-year North British in bourbon, just to kind of get the palate going.
Ooh, North British. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting choice. Interesting.
Yeah.
Same distillery. And who are we talking to tonight? Jer, Sean. You guys know her a bit better than I do.
You go ahead, Sean.
So it's Claire Vokins. She lives in England, and she is a freelance everything. She does freelance work for some brands, pours at tastings, hosts events. She has a Substack that we all follow, writes articles. She's a self-described shit disturber, which is right up our alley. She's awesome, and we all have talked to her lots, and we actually crossed paths because I wrote an article on my website probably 2.5 years ago after a whiskey magazine gave their whiskey of the year, and you flip the page after they announce it, and it's a double page spread of that brand for an ad. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So I kind of called it out, and it was all about integrity and in awards and, the whiskey industry altogether. And she commented on it, and we basically talked ever since. So she just released a very cool article a couple days ago. I'm glad that it came out before this recording, so we can go over that. We'll talk to her about that, when we bring her on. But that's exciting.
Save that. Don't tease it.
It's also 4:10 a.m. I believe where she is. So
I know she's a champion for getting up to do this with us.
We should let her have time for a coffee while we do other stuff. But she is also got into her first gig was in horticulture.
Yeah.
So I have a couple. I have a couple little sneaky. I might take this podcast right off the rails and just start asking plant questions. And you guys are gonna be like, "You fucked this up, Travis." It might happen. Right. So just be prepared. Anyway, so it's 4:10 there. We should be nice, not nice. We should be polite and get going so we can get her on. Quick question, Sean. It's now February 1st.
Yeah.
Your Whiskey of the Year awards are in the time of this podcast launch done, but you're just releasing them now. But can you reveal to us your Whiskey of the Year? Well, not reveal. Tell everyone what it was.
Whiskey of the Year, Distillery of the Year, or both?
I don't know. You got so many. Just
Whiskey of the Year.
Whiskey of the Year, yeah.
Okay, well, so the single grain category was the hardest to narrow down to like 5. picking my overall best whiskey this year was the hardest it's been ever since I started doing this. Honestly, though, like it came down to a Campbelltown, which I've never even featured in my top 5 ever before,
Really?
and a single grain, which obviously makes a lot of sense for me.
Shocker.
So it was the final 2 came down to Kilkerran 16, and the single cast nation came this 35 year. I gave it to the single cast nation that came this.
No way.
Yeah, I honestly like went back to all 5 that feature in my top 5. Caveat: there's 7, but the Cloud Cask 1 and 2 I'm not allowed to. But I picked those as my whiskeys of the year. But besides those ones, yeah, I tasted all 5 of my whiskeys. Like poured them blind, figured it out, went back, left them, re-poured them the next night, went back through them again. Those 2 came first and second both times. So that that single cast nation, it just opened up so much after the first crack, and I was in love with it the first crack. But yeah, that's my whiskey of the year this year.
And we just had Joshua on last episode. Now he's going to be so proud. And here I was about to absolutely bash you wearing all Dodger gear again. And then you go and totally redeem yourself picking an SCN whiskey as your whiskey of the year. So I'm just going to leave it alone. We talked about it before. It's just enough Dodger stuff for crying out loud.
World Series champs 225.
Yeah, we get
The
it.
funniest thing is like the Save On Foods that I go to in Spruce Grove here, they have this giant print celebrating the Blue Jays, and it's got like autographs and everything. They're auctioning it off, and it's just like second place. Why would you put a big thing for that? But this is
well, Sean, some of us can't buy friggin' World Series every 3 years, so we celebrate second best, okay? Just like Kilkerran 16 is celebrating second best in your awards, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're celebrating Campbelltown as we speak.
Jared,
Yep.
cue the happy hour headline music.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
Heroin, sex, machine guns, flamethrowers, murder. There's no story here. We've just found that ratings go up when we say those words.
Sean, you sent this one. This is more bad news for bourbon.
Yeah. This came on, it was actually was announced right after we recorded our last episode, but Jim Beam paused production at their main distillery. They produce 100 million liters per year, and as of right when they announced it, they had 2.3 million barrels in storage. All of Kentucky alone has 16.1 million barrels of whiskey just in one state. Obviously, the bourbon bubble is pretty much popped. Every month we come on and there's bourbon bad news. Jim Beam said at first they said it was because of the tariffs and all the trade wars. And then they said it was due to maintenance, and kind of read between the lines. They just, everybody overproduced, and it's not just an American whiskey problem. Because the next one, which just came out today, Teeling's profits dropped by 91% in 2025. They went from it's like 3.9 million US dollars in 2024 to $346,000 US in profits in 1 year.
I'm gonna spin this one into a positive. They're still making about 343,000 more than PWS. Let's turn this into a positive.
There you go. There is a profit margin happening there.
They're still
Jim Beam
making
had to
more
close up shop. They're still making a profit.
Look on the bright side, Teeling. You're beating us by $343,100.
It's that's a huge drop though. Like
Crazy.
Like
That's insane.
if my business dropped that percentage in sales in a year, I would probably just close up. Be like, I don't think this is working.
You wouldn't be drinking Guinness right now. You'd be drinking Lucky Lager.
Yeah.
If that.
4 of them.
Yeah. It's crazy, boys. It's not great. But it's I don't know what to say.
Can I jump back to Jim Beam for a second? So they initially said that like tariffs had something to do with that. Like obviously LCBO is a huge buyer of bourbon. And so that tap is turned off. So I have no doubt that that had something to do with what's going on. And then it's like, does it feel a little bit like sales are down? We need to do maintenance on the facility anyways. Let's just shut her down for the year.
Yeah. I mean, the timing probably makes a lot of sense business wise to do it. Like, and it's not just LCBO. Like, I was in British Columbia over the holidays and it was New Year's. And I said, I'll go pick up some stuff. I'll make some old fashions for everyone for New Year's. And I get to the store and there's no American whiskey there. So no bourbon.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to go trying to make like a alternative. So I switched to a Negroni and bought some gin instead. But it's not just LCBO. Like BCLS is a big buyer as well. And I'm sure there's other places where the tariffs are hitting them too. So yeah. Anyway, so we're kind of like a broken record here bringing this up every month. But
the thing is, it's the news. Like that's what's happening. Like it's crazy, but it is what's happening.
Yeah. This one's a little bit relevant.
Should we say what our favorite premier in Canada decided to do yesterday?
No. Oh, sure. Sure. This is a monthly segment. We need Doug Ford update music.
The Doug Ford fuel, as we dubbed it last time when we tried it. He has threatened to remove all of Crown Royal from LCBO as well.
You know what's funny? The Mickey that I bought for us to try is now in my golf bag. So it's ready. It's good to go for something.
There you go.
On the positive side, we're talking about independent bottlers today. And a really cool bottler just won the Scottish World Whiskey Award for Best NAS Blend, Sean. Turntable Spirits won for Bittersweet Symphony. I know you've been checking Alistair. What's the other guy's name? They're brothers, right?
Yeah. Oh man,
Ali and I think he goes by Ali. Anyway,
Gordon. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there's too many Gordons over in Scotland. Anyways, we're talking about independent bottlers. Turntable Spirits, which we're going to talk about our top 5 independent bottlers later. Doing some really cool stuff. So it's nice to see them being recognized. But we can talk a little bit more about awards later. Maybe this is all for naught. Jared, what the hell is going on with Suntory and...
Yeah, so apparently Suntory, Diageo, and Glenmorangie are teaming up to spend over $2 million to restore 2,500 acres of peatland on Islay, which is actually pretty sweet.
It's pretty cool.
Like it's,
I know Diageo had warned maybe 2 or 3 years ago that basically the Isla peat was going to be, they were going to like stop using it. So if they're investing in replacing it or replenishing it or making it more viable, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like nice. They're teaming up and they're like, you're like, oh, $2.1 million. But those 3 companies spending $2.1 million, it would be like me taking you out for a cup of coffee and saying thank you. It's $2.1 million to them. It's like me spending $5 of PWS money on sponsoring you by buying you a cup of coffee. Like it's right. That's the levels we're taking. It's really not that much money. I don't know how much they can get done. It's a nice thing they're doing, and maybe 2.1 million in peat restoration will go a long way. I have no idea. I'm not trying to knock it.
No.
It's not a big number for those 3 companies.
But that's actually my guess that they probably have some kind of plan in place. And I think more than anything, I think it's cool that just the 3 companies are like, hey, let's all get together and let's do this. Like it will benefit all of us and all of the whiskey drinkers that will, benefit from this.
Totally. And all joking aside, $2.1 million for them is a drop in the bucket, but it's $2.1 million.
Totally.
That governments don't, whatever. It's still a lot of money. So it's kind of like me in the first episode talking about people losing their jobs. I'm not laughing at I'm just saying it's really not that much for them, but it's a lot of money. Hopefully it goes a long way. Do you want to get Claire in while I bring up the biggest happy hour headline of the month?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just speaking about PWS and how much money we make, huge news coming out of PWS headquarters in Edmonton, Alberta. Bearded Dave just got his first paycheck. Most valuable player. He got his first paycheck, and I got my first paycheck in almost a year. We're calling it a Christmas bonus, not a paycheck, but it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
So
that's great, man.
I went and bought our favorite whiskeys from the first 4 podcasts. It's all gone now, but I got one.
That is awesome.
Don't tell Lisa. I actually didn't spend it all. I was just very happy, but it's kind of nice to see something, you know, something.
You guys started at like, because PWS really all came together during the boom, kind of like just post COVID.
No, I'm not going to say boom. I would call it COVID boom. The
COVID boom. Yeah, that's a fair. Yeah.
Without COVID, all the signs were here for this bust before. I was preaching about it in like 2016, 17 that we're on our way to this. So we'll call it a COVID boom when everyone drank at home.
COVID boom when everybody drank at home.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you guys are a small business. You stuck through it. You just got a paycheck. That's a win, man. You got to celebrate that.
Got a freaking paycheck.
Yeah.
It's hard out there, man. You just got to grind.
100%.
Now I'm going to go waste it on a bunch of Dodgers gear like Sean. What a freaking joke. All right.
Let's get Claire in here. All right, Claire.
We got the first time we've interviewed someone that I don't know super well. So I think all the other guests so far, we kind of knew pretty well. So I'm a little nervous.
Hello, Claire.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Awesome.
What time is it for you right now?
It's 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. What time did you wake up to do this?
About 3:30, because I figured I need to get the coffee in. Otherwise, you're just going to have hysteria. And I didn't think you could cope with that because I know that I can't. So, yeah, the coffee's on.
So, for what it's worth, Claire, 4:30 in the morning, you look fantastic.
Seriously, a swipe of lippy and a cup of coffee, that's all we need. But thank you for having me. This is mad, actually. I was thinking about this earlier on, and I got too deep into my own thoughts, and I realised this is literal time travel because you're in my past, I'm in your future, yet we're all here together at the same time, which is mental.
It's so cool. We really appreciate having you come on. I'm excited to talk to you tonight for us, this morning for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you just released an article. I just read it yesterday. And before you came on, we were like, the timing of this could not have been more perfect.
Okay.
The release of that is fantastic. I feel like we have a lot to talk about tonight. But what I want to do, the first thing I always ask our guests when they come on is tell us a little bit about how you got into whiskey.
The origin story. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way.
I got into whiskey by default by being diagnosed with loads and loads and loads of food intolerances about 20 odd years ago. But I carried on eating the stuff that I was intolerant to and got sicker and sicker until I kind of had to make changes. And I was a big red wine fan, but it used to make me really, really sick. So I had to find a drink that didn't make me sick, could last longer than 3 days in a bottle. And that took me down to spirits. And I didn't really like any spirits at that point because I was clubbing and vodka was the main thing. And that's quite a boring drink back then. And the smell of whiskey used to make me heave. So having said that, I did some research and realised that whiskey was probably the most interesting drink and probably the most likely to find something that I'm going to like. So back in 2012, after doing my research and listening to all the myths, I went out and bought a bottle of single malt because that's the best, and spent 2 weeks just sniffing it so I can get past the point of retching at the smell, and then started sipping it, and that was okay too. And then I decided I would join a whiskey club so I could learn more about whiskey, and I joined a Soho whiskey club. And that's how I got into whiskey. I went and paid my membership, and 4 hours later, I'd had 3 or 4 drinks and worked out that I didn't like Speyside at the time. And I started off as a bit of a peat head. So, yeah. And then, here I am now, 12 odd years later, brand ambassador, supposed writer, host tastings, upset people, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
That is
I think in our intro we said we kind of went over everything you do and said part-time shit disturber. So
I was going to say, did you do a risk assessment before you set this one up?
We don't require a risk assessment for this podcast. No.
Exactly.
Sorry. Let me chime in quick, Sean. Claire, you're saying you bought 1 bottle,
Yeah.
sniffed it for a bit, sipped it for a bit, and after 1 bottle, you joined a club.
Yeah, so it was like exposure therapy, just getting past the sniffing and tasting. And to be honest with you, and this is why I love what I do, because in my head, I'm still a newbie. So when people are coming into whiskey, I have very, very clear recollection of what it was like for me. And I kind of figured out the only way I'm going to learn about whiskey is actually by going to a place that specialises in it. So I did some research and found the Soho Whiskey Club in London, which you had to be, according to their paperwork, nominated by another member. And I kind of like that idea because in my head, whiskey, the myths, I wanted to go to a club which had leather chairs where I could sit and read a newspaper in a dark room with Tiffany lighting and, just have that whole thing that we kind of try to work against now. But I quite like the idea of it all. So I emailed them and told them I had this problem that I wanted to learn about whiskey, and they invited me in. And the guy who I spoke to at the counter at the time, who is now running his own independent bottling company in Scotland, he signed me up, and that was it. Because they were running tastings and stuff like that. So it made me go into London every now and then, go to a tasting, listen to brand ambassadors talking about whiskey, and that's how I learned.
That's awesome. It's my question is, what was that first bottle?
It was a Linkwood. The original one that I bought. It was an Abelauer 12.
Okay.
So at the time, a supermarket bottle, because that's kind of where we all start, at the supermarket.
Yep.
And looking back, I think an Abelauer 12 is actually quite good for 10, 12 years ago in a UK supermarket. And I can't even remember the price point of it, and it was okay. But for me, every whiskey at that point smelled and tasted the same.
Right. Because
you're new, you don't understand the nuances, you haven't practiced, you haven't used those muscles or trained those muscles. It was exposure therapy got me into whiskey, basically.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, you could have picked a lot worse than Abelauer 12.
Exactly.
Sure.
Could have got the wrong bottle and not be sat here. So,
Exactly.
I always laugh about my first bottle of peated whiskey that I ever bought, and it's a brand that I do not like at all. We make fun of quite often, but speaking of brands, you do work currently freelance for Torveg, right?
Yeah.
What other brands have you worked with?
So I started off, my first sort of brand association was with that boutique whiskey company, and I will forever be grateful to Dave Worthington, who is and still is their main brand ambassador for the UK.
Bit of a legend, Claire. Sorry,
I know, right?
A bit of a legend,
an absolute legend. And I suppose I would call him my original whiskey mentor. Back in the day when Twitter was a nice place to be and the whiskey community was pretty awesome on Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter because I don't use it now. I got talking to Dave and loads of other people in whiskey, and there was a cocktail, like a boutique cocktail making thing, whiskey tasting at a bar in London. And he said, why don't you come along? So of course, you know, you did the thing, went along, met a complete stranger off the internet in a bar full of alcohol. And by the end of the evening, we've been chatting about whiskey for 3 or 4 hours. And he said, listen, we need someone to come and help us at a festival in a few weeks. Do you fancy it? I was like, I can't do that. I don't know anything about whiskey. And he's like, you've just spoken about it for 3 hours. You know enough. Like, you've got the attitude and aptitude, which is the main thing, like, for anyone working in whiskey. The rest of it can be taught. But if you haven't got the attitude and aptitude, then you're kind of screwed a little bit. So that was it. It was Boutique that let me come and work with them. Cool. And then I worked with McMira, which is a Swedish whiskey brand, and sort of currently with Torrevieja Mossburn, but I don't know what the deal is for this year coming because I haven't had my list of festivals yet. But the world is under pressure financially, so I think there might be some cutbacks, which includes freelancers. It's the deal of being a freelancer. So it can be really, really good and you can get lots of work, or you can just be let go as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I feel like Torrevieja is still, like, they're just still in launch mode, you know, like they still have a lot of people to tell their story to. So
it's not Torrevieja who I work for directly. So I work for their distributor, Marussia.
Marussia.
So it's Marussia that kind of hires me, and I get to work with Torrevieja Mossburn. So I've been lucky. I mean, to work with a company like that for the last 3 years has been pretty impressive. I almost, like you say, from the get-go, to be able to tell their story has been amazing. And it's such good whiskey as well. For people who say they don't like peated whiskey, it is the best whiskey to teach people about peat. And 9 times out of 10, once they've had Torrevieja, they will realise there is a style of peat they do like. So, yeah.
It's you and I talked online, but I'd spoken with the people that were the Marussia people, and we were close to possibly bringing Torrevieja into Canada, and I was so excited because it's such a cool distillery. So I imagine you as a you know, doing your freelance thing, but just to be able to represent a brand that you actually care about is such a game changer, right? You're not bullshitting people. You're actually being like, no, try this stuff. It's fantastic.
It's the privilege of being a freelancer to some extent, is I can choose who I work with. If I don't like the whiskey, if I don't like the brand, if I don't like the company, if I don't like the ethos, I'm not going to work for you. I don't have to. So and it's a kind, you know, I've been freelance in 2 industries for about 12 years, and it's the same with the other industry I work with. If I don't like you, if we don't connect, I'm not going to work with you. Simple as that. So with Boutique and McMira and Torrevieja, I've been really, really lucky. So yeah, it keeps the enjoyment of the job up.
Guys, I have to throw in one more here before you chime in. The Boutique Whiskey Company, Claire, I love the bottles. I thought they're amazing. I often buy bottles for tastings, so I need 700 ml bottles for a full tasting. And those bloody 500 ml bottles killed me, because I have to buy 2, or I just don't get to give people whiskey.
I will put my boutique hat on. So yeah, I kind of agree. But the whole idea of boutique and those smaller bottles is everything they were doing at that point, because they now have a really, really cool core range. At that point, you know, when I started working with them, what was it, about 8, 9, 10 years ago? Everything was kind of limited edition. There was a finite amount of each whiskey. So by putting it into 500 ml bottles instead of 700 ml bottles, it enabled more people to be able to drink the whiskey, because it was spread out more. So, but yeah, a lot of like the 500 ml thing. I mean, I've still got quite a few of their bottles here, and the labels were fantastic. But when I first got into whiskey, and I think this happens for everyone who comes into whiskey because they're not exposed to the industry. They're exposed to supermarket way of thinking about whiskey, which is like 20 years behind where we actually are. When I saw the boutique labels, and this also went for a couple of other companies, I just walked past the stands because they didn't look like serious whiskey, right? And it took for me to actually go and meet the people and understand what they were doing to understand that the liquid inside the bottles was actually really damn good. But if I was judging it just on what it looked like, I didn't have the education to be able to go, oh yeah, that's really good stuff. And now I understand the labels and why they're like they are and the stories behind them. They're amazing and people collect them. But as a new person, I would have walked straight past that stand.
Yeah.
Right.
I think smaller bottles are becoming more popular now. Full Distillery just released 250 ml bottles, Sean.
Yeah.
No.
I was just going to say, like, to me, the ideal size, if the entire industry switched to 500 mils, would be perfect. But it'll never happen now.
I'll just have to cut 20 members from my Scotch club.
Wait, I'm
I don't have enough whiskey.
Yeah, Sean's out. Sean's out.
I just got in. All right, should we dive into some of the stuff you've written about in the past couple of years?
Oh, did you go into the back catalogue?
No, we didn't go that far.
A little bit.
Not super far. No.
Good.
No, because I was telling them the story when we first logged on. Like, the way we met was because I wrote an article calling out Whiskey Advocate for naming Jack Daniel's their whiskey of the year. You literally flip one page over and it's a dual page spread of Jack Daniel's, and you're like, oh, I wonder where that award came from. And I just wrote an article about integrity in whiskey awards and magazines and stuff, and then you commented on it, and you had already kind of had spoken to a few Canadians over here, and everybody's like, Claire's awesome, you got to talk to her. And then we've been talking ever since. So, but yeah, it's
how long ago was that?
Like at least 2 years ago, if not more.
Because I was trying to remember like my first communications with you, and I remember something completely different. I think you emailed or you contacted me and asked me to be on one of my What Free Whiskies. And I said no, because I don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
you basically got the short shrift that everyone else gives.
Yeah.
I like that story better. That's what I'm going to say the story is. Yeah.
Sean's one of 3 people / companies who have contacted me directly, like, oh, can I be on your What Free Whiskies, blah 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 blah. And I have very hard and fast rules about What Free Whiskies, and just for in case anybody who doesn't know, I speak to people in the industry about the free whiskies that have kind of defined their life in whiskey up to this point. And it can bring about some really lovely stories. And I kind of hope it encourages people who want to get into whiskey that your background and who you are doesn't matter. We all have a completely different story. But my rules are, I need to know you. I need to have some kind of relationship with you before I sort of bring you into What Free Whiskies. And I did say to Sean, look, I don't know you, but let's see what happens, follow each other for a couple of years, blah, blah, blah. And, eventually you got the invite, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You stayed in there. But I've had other companies and people contact me with this whole ream of why they should be on it. And I've emailed them back and said, look, it's not an advertorial. It's not about promoting your company or anything. It's just about people in whiskey. And funny enough, the other 2 companies, they didn't even respond to that. They just sort of stopped following and they disappeared. And I'm like, cool, then you weren't the right people to have on What Free Whiskies. So yes, that's my memory of the first time we had contact. But
that very well could be, because I remember the first time I came across the What Free Whiskey, it was like, that's such a cool short form way to introduce people, but also get stories. And honestly, if you would have said yes, I would have had completely different whiskeys. Than it was like the timing was right when I actually got to do it. and obviously we talked about the 2 stacks, the first cloud cask edition. Now we have 2, and we're making it a 6-part series. So, yeah, and then obviously I followed your Substack as soon as you started that, and
Thank you.
some pretty cool articles. Should we start in the past, or should we start in the current one?
Just listen. Those articles are who I am, so just do it. People know. The right people who know.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for it.
I don't know why you dance around this, Sean. We're a controversial podcast. You're acting all golden retriever-ish right now, like you are. You're being just
Because I'm not a safe person.
Yeah.
I'm not a safe person within the industry, and I kind of get that. I know what I'm like, and I know that anyone who works with me, has me on a podcast, is kind of probably sitting there going, God, I hope she behaves herself. And I will.
Not me.
Not me.
We said the opposite. We're like, we want the shit disturber to come out.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Claire, you have this like beautiful way. I forget how I worded it to you guys yesterday, but you have this beautiful way in your articles of dropping, what did I call it? These are the facts I've gathered grenade. And not necessarily taking a stance one way or another. It's just like, hey, these are some things I've learned.
Yeah, but that's the way.
And I love it,
right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's okay. Let's go. That doesn't happen within a lot of whiskey writing.
Totally.
And a lot of people within whiskey writing, and again, this is not only the benefit of being freelance, but it's also the benefit of being someone who has zero responsibilities in life. Okay. Mm. I am single. I live by myself. I don't have kids. The only person I have to provide for is myself. So all the risk that I take is on me. It doesn't affect anybody else to me closely. If I had different circumstances, maybe I might behave in a slightly different way, but maybe not. But other writers, they may be attached to companies, magazines, their own businesses, their own circumstances. So there is a level of safety within what they write. And I totally understand that, and there's absolutely a place for it. But I don't have that restriction. And I'm not like this just in the whiskey industry. I've been like this my whole entire life. I am justice and fairness driven. If I see something that's not right, I'm going to call that out. Okay.
I love it.
And it's never, touch wood, got me into huge trouble, because most of the time, and like you say, I've dropped the facts. I will put down my citations, my sources when I accessed it. And the access thing is a really important thing, because sometimes websites and stuff change after you've accessed it and change what they say and whatever. So I will always put those things down. So if people want to come back and talk about it, you can't argue with fact. You can argue with my opinion, but you can't argue with fact.
Yeah. Which
is why I get very few comments on my articles, because most people, when they come to the internet, they want to argue. You can't argue with fact. And I kind of hope that's how I come across. Yeah, there's some truth bombs and not everyone wants to hear it, but that's okay. Because what happens is I'll be the person, like the canary in the mine, who will go out and say it. And 6 months, 2 years later, other people will be writing very similar articles, but they're doing it in the case of safety because someone else has already done it.
Right.
And I'm happy to be the person who goes first. That's fine.
Did this come from a journalistic background, Claire? I looked up on your LinkedIn, but did you know? This is just kind of...
My background, if you looked on my LinkedIn, there is some stuff missing from probably like the pre-2000s, because it's absolutely not relevant, right? But my first career was working in aviation. I'm an ex-aircraft engineer.
That's right. We've talked about this before. Yeah.
And the only reason I don't do that anymore is because I ended up getting contact dermatitis with fuel, which is a little bit of a career killer.
No.
Had I not got contact dermatitis, I'd still be in aviation. And so from there, I ended up in housing and construction and I've worked in all male-dominated industries. So I think that kind of adds to my personality a little bit, or my personality suited those kind of industries, which is probably why it works in whiskey as well. But yeah, I'll always be truthful in my articles, even if they might upset people who don't want to hear it.
Well, let's dive into it then. And first, quick fun fact, my grandfather was a aviation engineer for the Army in World War II for Canada. So fun little tie there.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's dive into topic number 1. Whiskey awards. You've been doing a lot of digging and a lot of uncovering. And we talk about this all the time, sometimes maybe a little nervously publicly, because we don't do as much research and fact finding.
He's trying to cover his face up there.
I'm just like, if I said like, if it's an award, one of my brands wins, I'm like, that's legit. There's blind, it's perfect. And if another company wins, I'm like, something's fishy here. That's kind of the way I look at awards. So, what is going on? And is there? I guess there's a lot to cover here. But maybe just start off, and then we can kind of see which direction this goes.
So I think I need to go back a little bit in and sort of explain how I write my articles. And so when a lot of people have blogs and Substacks and stuff like that, they churn. They feel like they have to put something out constantly just to keep interest going. I don't work like that. I work on anger. If anything annoys me, then I might write about it. If something's kind of pissing me off, or I think it's wrong or unfair, then I'll write about it. So that's why there's not like a regular thing with my writing. So with the awards thing, I was already kind of keeping an eye, and it isn't always me digging, because if I did that, I'd never come up again. There's so much stuff out there. But a lot of the time, it's people will come to me with something, and they'll drop into my DMs and go, look, I've seen this. What do you think? And I'm like, ooh, that looks interesting. And this is what's kind of happened with the awards article. So you guys have read it. So you'll see that I kind of start straight off with the fact that a independent bottling company was entered into one of the awards as a finalist after only running for 8 weeks. And I'd already called that company out on a previous article, which was called When Saltburn Comes to Edinburgh.
Great name.
Yeah.
And if you've seen any of the pictures, you'll understand why. So that kind of got the backup of a few companies, because the other companies that were within that finalist section, they've been running for a couple of years. You know, they're established, they're getting their work out there. And then this company who's only been going for 8 weeks is suddenly a finalist. So I was like, interesting. So I looked and I looked on the website of the people running the awards, and the Cask Investment Company who owns, and I'm going to put that in inverted commas because they're two separate companies, but they're funded by the Cask Investment Company, was a sponsor, has suddenly become a sponsor of the whole event. And I was like, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. But before going out and just screaming about it, you've got to look into whether there are legalities behind it and stuff like that. And I looked into it, and legally, there's no crime being committed for them being a sponsor and having their company within the awards. It happens. And they weren't a direct sponsor for that particular award. They were like an overall sponsor. However, should one cask at a time have won, then there would be a trading standards and consumer trust issue, which would come under a trading standards framework in the UK, like the Advertising Standards Agency and CAP, which is like that framework. So I contacted KD Media and I just spoke to them. I said, look, you know, this doesn't feel good. And a couple of people have said something, but not everyone wants to come forward and put their head above the parapet. And like I explained, I kind of don't mind doing that. And they didn't see it as an issue. Even for the optics, they were like, okay, fine. Cool. So from that point, it was kind of a waiting game because you're waiting to see whether one cask at a time win or not. If they win, there's a story. If they don't, it's a non-story. And it became a non-story. So I kind of put the whole thing to one side. And then I got a message about people being told they may have won something and then didn't. And that's when the ball started rolling. And that's when I started digging. And the digging is asking people if they want to come forward and talk about their experiences, looking for documentation, and just going below the surface a little bit. And so, yeah, that whole article come up with what appears to be a kind of unfairness within the way a couple of particular awards are set up. There are people working as judges, but also with the companies they were judging. So that's very clear. That's looked at within the article, and it's absolutely fine. It's been sorted out. And the final one was, again, something that people know happens, and there's actually a formalized company out there within the whiskey world who does do this, but the person that I highlighted, whose name I do not know, I just got a screenshot, was basically going around people and companies in Scotland and saying, I can write your award entries for you. I used to be a judge for this event and I know what they're looking for. And again, it's not illegal. It's just morally crap. And there's not a level playing field, because if you can't afford to pay for that person, it may put you at a disadvantage to a company that can afford to pay for that person. So yeah, there's nothing on there that's illegal or whatever. It's just we're looking at morals and ethics and whether it's a level playing field for these award systems.
Right.
Ran over.
It's I think so. As a whiskey drinker, let me ask this question to all of you. Have you ever bought a whiskey based purely off an award it's won?
No.
We wouldn't, but there are stickers that go on bottles for a reason. I'm sure some people out there, newbies or not everyday drinkers, but if they see 4 bottles on a shelf and one has this yellow sticker on it saying we won Whiskey of the Year or we won our category, they might be more inclined to pick that one up than the other 3.
And I think that's then it's, and this is same for the other industry I work in, which is horticulture. The awards that are recognised within the whiskey industry, they're backslapping events. This industry judging industry. So anyone who's outside the industry who may, and the people in the industry who are buying whiskey, like influencers, people like me, people like you, the whiskey nerds, the whiskey geeks, they are they're like a teeny percentage of the people actually buying whiskey globally. All right? The bigger buyers are the ones who are buying gifts for a family member who they know drink whiskey, but they don't know much about whiskey themselves. So those little award stickers, they're not for the likes of you and me. I do have award-winning whiskies, but I bought those whiskies way before they got the awards. Right. They just happened to get an award, and I can see why they did, okay? But if I didn't know anything about a product and it's got an award thing on it, I may be more tempted because someone somewhere has gone, a group of us say this is good for its category. Right. But at the end of the day, and again, same in my other industry, what does WWA mean to a person who's not in the industry? What does IWSC mean to a person that's not in the industry? So for me, and I'm going to speak mainly about the UK here, if there were bottles that had something I recognise on it, I would probably be more likely to buy it. And so over here we have Good Housekeeping, which is like a magazine for design, interiors, gardens, cooking, all that kind of stuff. So you got Good Housekeeping, Good Food, Great Taste Awards, which None of those are industry awards, but they are awards for consumers that consumers would recognize. So I don't even think industry awarded stickers are as good as consumer stickers. And I think some of the companies should be reconsidering if they want to get their bottles to make money, which is the bottom line. Marketing is to get money into your bank account. They should be going for consumer awards, not industry awards.
Right.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. The way that article and the way you broke it down, I was like, in a way, a little bit disappointed because I wanted you to like yell at, like, call out people and more people. And I was like,
I legally can't do that.
I know. I understand. I understand you. And now the way you explained it, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. But the way you broke it down in like this company that's been around for 8 weeks, what award was it that they were up for, by the way, after 8 weeks?
Independent Bottler of the Year.
Yeah. And so that
launched in September and they were a finalist by November.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So they had ChatGPT write a nice summary of what they've accomplished in 8 weeks, and maybe didn't mention that it's only been 8 weeks and whatever. I kind of read
not mention it. It's out there.
Yeah, I kind of read your breakdown too of how there was a little bit of a discrepancy where the business awards didn't necessarily have to submit samples, but they were kind of suggested there's a whole bunch of weird stuff there. But my question, oh, go ahead, keep going. No, you go.
I was going to say, I think that that particular point is the issue, and it all just comes down to it's language, and that's why I put up the screenshots of the entry thing, because it doesn't apply to every business award. So for that particular awards event, some business awards had to put in a bottle for text, and some businesses don't, and it's clearly written there. So if there's nothing saying that you have to or you can choose to, if you decide you want to save the money by not putting in for an extra bottle, when you put, I've got to be really careful how I say this, you're paying to enter something. When you're paying to enter, you're forming a contract that you will be judged fairly. There is nothing within that entry form that I read that says the tasting part will be aggregated into the overall result. And that's why the article, to some extent, is quite ambiguous, because even the information I got from the people who it affected and from the company itself and from judges on it, they all have a different understanding of those rules. So it's really ambiguous. No one wins. Literally, there could be 7 years worth of companies who haven't won because all they need to do is add a sentence into that entry form. That's all they have to do, and it's cleared up.
It's crazy. I had no idea that's because I've always wondered how they pick those different awards, and I mostly assume that there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. But like first of all, in once we're done talking to you, we're going to list our top 5 independent bottlers for each of us. We haven't discussed it, and I guarantee one cask at a time did not make either of our lists. So they did not pay us enough. They
surprised me.
They didn't sponsor this podcast. They're not on my list. That's all I'm saying. I'm allowed to say that. That's okay. But what I want is so a lot of these award ceremonies, they are blindly judged, and I think you pointed that out. The judges all said
yes,
yeah. So, and I've heard that about the San Francisco World Spirit Awards. I've heard that about World Whiskey Awards. We know some judges in the World Whiskey Awards. So I've always wondered this, and I don't know if you can do some more digging, but like, so all the judges get together, they all make their lists, but they have to submit those lists to somebody. And somebody knows what all those whiskeys are, and somebody's compiling all the data. And that somebody is the person that's friggin' has the most to gain from someone saying, hey, we want to be number 1 this year or whatever. So like, as much as you say, this is a blindly review, this is all great and everything, this is all a business. It's every single one of these is a business. And you can't convince me that even though it's blindly judged, that at the final step, somebody's like, okay, yeah, no, this is what the judges said, but these guys threw us a sponsorship or whatever it is. And so I question all of them now. And I used to think a couple of them were quite legit.
I think there is every system has its flaws, 100%, right? And I believe it's what on the onus is on the companies to make sure those flaws are managed, risk managed as far as possible, etc., etc. But I have, regardless of what KD Media thought, I have been a judge on at the World Whisky Awards at the beginning of 2025. And it was an eye-opener for me because I could see how for that particular setup, how it was set up, that it was judged by blindly because I was doing it. So I actually did an article about how it worked. But I think I'm pretty good at tasting whiskey and nosing whiskey. But when you've done 4 lots of 5, 6, 7, 8 whiskies, even with spitting it out and clearing your palate, you go taste blind after a little while. It's really difficult. And I remember sitting opposite a guy who really knows his stuff. He's really, really good. And he was saying, I kind of give up. That they're all kind of starting to taste the same.
Yeah.
That in itself is a flaw within all whiskey competitions. It really is. It costs a lot of money to get people in to do it. You know, they're hiring out spaces in order to do it. So you can understand why they try to get it all done in one day or over a small period of time. But after 5, 7, 8 whiskies, your palate's kind of done.
Right.
Right?
Very fair.
But you're
Yeah,
sitting there tasting up to 30.
Like there was a newer awards in Canada a couple years ago now, and obviously like Travis entered some of his whiskeys. The whiskey that I blended with a distillery here was entered, among others. And like we even had one of the guys that we know as a judge. He said that like they gave like 20 or 30 or 40 whiskeys at a time, and so like even if you broke it down into like sets of 5 or 10 at a time, how are you going to remember what was originally tasted? And he said that like there's definitely some that get lost in the shuffle of just tasting that much whiskey. And like our distiller friend who 12 minutes away from here, his distillery just released their first whiskey, but he won the World Whiskey Award for best new make in the world. And like we know because we've all tasted the new make. You taste one new make and your palate's shot for the day, let alone tasting a bunch one after another. Like if I go out to the distillery and taste stuff off the stills, I'm not drinking whiskey that night because it's still affecting me. So I don't know. It's like you said, there's probably flaws in every single way that they can come up with to do it.
Yeah. And it's the same for, you know, every industry has their internal awards and stuff like that. So I think you have to enter awards with, like I say, with good faith. But what I'm kind of enjoying is seeing people challenge the status quo a little bit. Like actually calling out something. We hear it a lot. Oh yeah, we knew that was happening. Oh, we know that happened. But it's all behind the scenes and no one actually says it out loud. But if we say it out loud, then that means change can happen and things can get better. They can get fairer. They can, you know, we can iron out these issues. And what I'm finding, especially with this awards article, is there is a generation of new companies, new people who are happy to go, I don't agree with this. And even if they can't say it out loud themselves on social media, they may trust someone like me enough to go, we don't agree with this. What do you think? Can you look into it? And I'm happy to do that.
Okay, Here's a question before I forget. Sorry, guys, I'm jumping in again. Jerry, you get next question.
Okay.
Because we're talking about all the money involved, Claire.
Yeah.
And then we go to something that came out as very organic and very like, and so the online Scotch Whisky Awards with Ralph and what's his name? Roy, yeah, super nice people. Ralph was like one of my first YouTube reviews I ever watched. Love the guy, read his book, everything's great. And that one is like, now it's the people are voting. And I don't know if any money's involved in that. I think it's just purely, what do you vote for? Everybody in the world that has access to a computer. But those are kind of getting kind of predictable too now.
Right. Yeah. So,
and it's not a knock on them because people are voting, but it's kind of like, is this really the best whiskey?
No. So I kind of looked into the Oswars a little bit because I was looking through their voting system, and I looked at the winners. I was like, it's the same bottles all the time, like the same 2 or 3 bottles, the same 2 or 3 distilleries, and there are reasons for that. They're good whiskey. They're accessible whiskey. I was like, there's like I say, there's flaws in every system.
Yeah.
So, and some of it comes into human psychology as well. So what I kind of found with the Oswars is they've got like this community of judges. They're all listed on their website. There's, I don't know, 80, 100 different judges globally, right? And I think that's the point, globally. So not every judge is tasting every whiskey because globally they may not be available. And the list is compiled, from what I understand, and I may be completely wrong, so I'm more than happy for the Oswars guys to establish better facts. But a list is compiled, it's sent out, and then the judges globally are also able to nominate drams that they think should be sort of judged, thrown into the mix as well. And then it all comes back to a central group who make the final decision as to what then gets voted for publicly. And I think within their rules, no company is allowed to win 3 times in a row. So which is why you would have, for example, Aaron 10 wins best whiskey or best Scotch 2 years in a row and then just gets a highly commended on the 3rd year. Springbank Distillery is voted like the best distillery. And if these whiskies aren't available globally and everyone's voting online, as a human being, if we're given a list of 4 things, but we've had none of those 4 things, we will vote for the one we've heard of or the one we've heard people talking about, even though we haven't even tried it ourselves. Right. And I think that's kind of what happens in the Oswars. Doesn't mean to say it's a bad system. It's just got a flaw. And the flaw is human beings and accessibility to these whiskies. And from what I understand, they're going to be going on a hiatus maybe for a year with those awards and, coming back later. I'm not sure. I don't get involved with it too much because it's awards. So
yeah, but it's because all their favorite brands and whiskeys have won 2 years in a row, so they take a year off and then they can win 2 more years.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a really weird presidential system that you can't have 2 terms in a row, right? That kind of thing.
And that wasn't meant to be. I'm not even meant to be knocking them overall. I'm saying they kind of came from a very genuine place, I think, and it's just kind of showing. I was more highlighting that there's no perfect system, and they I think tried to create something that was as close to really genuine sort of whiskey drinkers, but it's really hard to do that as well. So anyways.
It is, yeah.
Like I know
they've got a really great group of people who are very, very supportive, and they've got a good community. Yeah. And it gets people talking about whiskey, which is kind of what we're all about, right?
Totally.
I know when it comes out and like we have the option to vote for what they've established as the finalists, but you can also write in stuff. Like, unless there's a brand or a bottle that I absolutely love, I will not pick any of them. I'll just write in my own stuff. PWS all the
way. I really like Claire. I think you're bang on. Like, you're talking to 3 guys. We've all talked about it before where awards come up and we have a quiet conversation between the 3 of us that are like, that's total bullshit. right? Like, honestly, that
unless
is
we win, unless
PWS wins, and then we celebrate it. But I think you're bang on. Like, the reality is, you're dealing with human beings. Human beings are flawed. There's flawed systems. And so there's a reason for, like, my initial reaction when I read your article about awards was kind of like, yeah, like, I know stuff like this goes on. Which is why I never really pay attention to any of them.
Right.
But so I have a question for you based on all of this that we've talked about. Like, what do you think, is there any like properly legit award that you can think of that you would say like, yeah, this one's pretty good?
I honestly don't know. And I'll say it like that because I haven't investigated, experienced every single award. So I can't give an answer. I'd like to think there is at least one.
I hope so.
Like, when I write that article, there's a lot in that article, and I wish I could have made it shorter. But I have double the amount of information in my DMs.
Right.
Right. And there's a lot of stuff that I can't say because I can't corroborate it, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But in some offline conversations, people saying, yeah, the same kind of thing happens in the consumer awards as well.
Totally.
So I think the bottom line is, for companies, it's money in bank accounts, and economy and stuff like that. So if an award gets you a sticker on the bottle, which means you get some more money in, or you can put your prices up, then happy days, company wins, right? That's great. I think for me, it's the transparency. So, for example, going back to One Cask at a Time in VCL, should One Cask at a Time have won an award, any marketing they then went ahead and did, i.e., you know, winner of, here's a label, they would have had to have a statement of transparency on every single bottle, basically saying, we won this award, but we also sponsored the awards.
Right.
Right? No company wants to do that, really. But that's the transparency from the consumer point of view, because the consumer should know. And we're linking into another topic of my, favorite topic of mine, like influencers, in that people are talking about or marketing a product. Where's their bias? That there's clearly going to be a bias. Where is it? So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know if there is. And, we have people self-appointing themselves for their own whiskies of the year. And there are influencers who have just done this, going, my top 5 whiskies of the year, blah, blah, blah. Who are you? I don't care about yours.
Where the only
but that's the thing. It's that there are people who I will absolutely listen to. And there's people in the UK who I will absolutely listen to because I've been drinking with them and we have similar palates. And if that person, whether they're a influencer or not, says this whiskey's great, because we have a similar palate, the chances are I'm going to like it as well. So if they give me a recommendation, I'm probably going to go and try it. But if someone is promoting a whiskey, I'm going to be looking into, did you pay for it? Was it gifted? What are you getting out of this? Because there are people out there promoting whiskies that are not great, but they're getting paid for that.
Totally.
And people will go out and buy it thinking that person's got some relevance.
I think
I stated at the beginning of my first post of my yearly, as Travis says, 7 weeks straight of awards. There's like 3 criteria: that I own the bottle, that I opened or purchased it in the year that I'm reviewing, and that's basically it. Are there whiskeys?
You have no biases other than biases towards all Irish whiskeys, all single grain whiskeys, all PWS whiskeys. Other than that, you have very few biases, so it's legit.
It's Trav, go easy on him. We're in the presence of greatness here. He was Canada's Whiskey Influencer of the Year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Legit award.
Let's cut him some slack here.
I have a poster with that award on it, okay? It's legit.
Had nothing to do with my mom and Sean's mom getting all their friends to vote.
I voted. I voted the hell out of it for you.
It was picked by the industry and the people that follow it, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But no, like, obviously, like, I have fun with my yearly awards. And, you know, this year I left out a few categories that I've done every year. I didn't buy any American whiskey this year for a reason. So I didn't obviously have an award for that. Are there brands that appear more often than others? Yeah, but I also pay my well-earned money to support those brands.
Yeah.
But it is a bias for sure. For sure. I think the 50 people that ever look at my awards know my taste and know what I like. But I get comments almost every single day. They're like, oh, I've been meaning to try that. And, you know, you recommended it, so I'm going to go get it. And I'm like, sweet, that's awesome. Because I get communication on my post, which is all I really want, is the back and forth. And the companies are making money. And right now, that's pretty important in the whiskey.
The key thing you said there, Sean, is I pay for these bottles.
Totally.
That's the key. You paid for those bottles. So you can say what you like because you've paid for it. It's when you're getting people who are having bottles given to them, then giving an opinion. Are they giving that opinion because they genuinely like it, or is it because they just want to keep the freebies rolling in?
Really tough. It's a really touchy subject.
It's very touchy.
Subject. But I've been there, and over in the UK, they know I'm like this on influence. I've been in Whiskey Mag about influencers, so I don't care.
I wanted to jump on this because the different, like Sean with you, I think the thing is we are around the scene and the community enough that it's pretty easy to spot when somebody's like, okay, they're obviously being paid to do this, right? Like that's as people who spend time in the community, we spend time online looking at people. It's a pretty easy thing to spot. You are not one of those people, like clearly, like especially we know that you purchase the bottles that you're getting. Absolutely. For sure.
If I'm given stuff, that doesn't factor into this. Like, I get sent stuff. Yes, I do. I fully admit it. And when I do post that product, I state, because you have to in Canada, and I'm sure it's the same in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK, we have to state.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like the consumer standards, and you have to state that it's gifted. And there's other like influencers on TikTok that go over ad nauseum about how you're supposed to do this. People still don't do it here. Whatever, but I don't like anything I've been given doesn't go into my yearly awards or anything like that. I'll post about it, but I'll also tell companies, if you're going to send me something and you acknowledge it ahead of time, like, you can buy my time, you can't buy my integrity. And if I don't like it, I either won't post it or I'll say that I don't like it. Does that cost me getting free stuff? Yeah, probably, but look, I'm not short on whiskey to drink. It's not going to bother me if you don't send me something.
Not short on LA Dodgers gear either.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jerry, go.
It's Sean, I have a similar deal. So if like people like my photography, so I get reached out to by brands all the time. They're like, hey, if we send you a bottle, will you post about it? So my caveat is if I'm being required to post this bottle of whiskey, I will give my honest thoughts when I post. So if I don't like the whiskey, that is what will come out in the post. And I have had more than a handful of brands be like, never mind, and just back out. Okay, so it's...
I think that is so wrong. They need to allow that to happen. Like, so first of all, in the UK, yes, we do have the ASA, which basically says if you're being given a bottle or paid or whatever, you have to have it on your post. You have to have hashtag ad, hashtag gifted, whatever. And there are a lot of people who do not abide by that. And that infuriates me because, again, it's a consumer issue. But I don't do, you're not, you can see in my articles, on my pages, I don't talk about whiskey as a product. I'm not necessarily doing loads of whiskey reviews or anything like that. First of all, I live in Southeast London and I live in a 6 metre by 5 metre studio flat. I do not have space for loads of whiskey. I've already got like 300 bottles. There's no space for any more whiskey, right? So any companies that have contacted me, I've been like, no, don't worry. I don't have space for it. And if you do still want to send it, then I probably am not going to do a review anyway. It's on them then, whether they send it or not. And to be honest with you, I don't get them sent out because they know I'm not going to talk about it. It's cool because there's enough people doing whiskey reviews. You know, how many times can you listen to 100 people talking about the same whiskey and getting 100 different ideas of what it tastes like?
100
except
different ways to describe gammon ham.
It's so funny because Claire messaged me after that, and it's like, obviously tasting notes are
episode killed me, right? On so many levels. It was all about language on your last episode, whether it's midgets and midgies, which was hilarious, and then the gammon ham, and yeah, it's a very British thing. And to confuse it even more, if you want to, like ham is a piece, like, you know, the hind of the pig, and then the gammon part is like it's been smoked, and then you kind of boil it up and turn it into ham. Like it's mad. And over here, I don't know if they do it in Canada, people will sometimes basically cook the ham in this great big vat of Coca-Cola, right? And it just gets even more sweetness, and you know, then you can bake it off afterwards, and you got like this crispy sweet skin going on. It's mental. But obviously, gammon means something else over here at the moment as well, in a political arena. So I was crying. But yeah, I mean, tasting notes are random, and depending on where you are on the planet, we could all be tasting exactly the same thing and have so many different names for it.
Totally. Yeah.
Right?
You just shared that guy's reel today, Whiskey Bites, I think it was called.
Yeah, Fraser, yeah.
And he was talking about tasting notes, and he said, I was in India doing a tasting, talking about fruitcake or Christmas cake.
Yeah.
And he's like, but in India, they have no idea what that is. And even people here, a lot of people don't eat Christmas cake. So it's like, how do I describe Christmas cake? It's just like, how do you describe gammon ham to a Canadian that just knows of ham? That's all we know. It's just
it's like maple cured bacon, but thick slices rather than thin slices.
Boiled
so it's salty and sweet and bacony.
Yeah, a little more bacony. And he talked about like just almost simplifying the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like we're getting too. We're trying to like bring more people into this, and we're really just excluding people by like, and we're not quite at the wine connoisseur level, I don't think, but it's kind of getting there.
It's trending that way.
We're not. Fraser also did another, I think it might have been his first Whiskey Bites, where he talks about being a brand ambassador. And your role as a brand ambassador is to communicate with people, but not every audience is the same, right? So sometimes you're going to need to have a simplified language, and sometimes you're going to be running a masterclass for 2 hours of people who know everything about whiskey. And you're probably going to use a more complex language. But I mean, I get really annoyed with some. I used to do these tastings on Twitter, like a community thing. And there was one guy who would literally list 9 ways to say vanilla. Just say vanilla. We don't need it as creme brulee, custard, Madagascar best, blah, blah. It's just vanilla. Like, simplify it.
Okay, but what's the difference? What's the difference between an apple pie and an apple crumble, Claire?
Butter.
Oh, it's the butter.
Oh,
So again, I was listening to this, but I think that's the thing. For me, when I remember, and again, going back to why I love what I do, I remember what it was like when I first started drinking whiskey. I was lucky if I tasted anything other than whiskey and vanilla for the first 6 months, right? Because we
Right.
just don't understand it. And I remember being at a tasting and I got blackcurrant and it was really, really strong. And I've written it down, but I'm not putting my hand up to say because I thought I was being an idiot. And then the brand ambassador was like, yeah, and you might get some blackcurrant on this. I'm like, yes, I finally found something other than vanilla. And what I've learned very, very quickly is the best way to learn to pick out flavors in whiskey is to not drink the whiskey to get the flavors. It's to be mindful of everything else you eat and drink.
totally.
It's about creating synapses. The more times you eat a red apple and then compare it to a green apple, the apple skins taste differently because they have a different chemical makeup, right? So there is a difference in those apple skins. So if you're being mindful about eating that red apple and then being mindful about eating the green apple, you will be able to eventually pick those out in a whiskey if they're there for you. But if you've never done that, all you're going to get is, apple crumble. Blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
And the difference between apple crumble and apple pie, for me personally, pie probably has more apple in it. The crumble has more butter, maybe more sugar within it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, there is a difference. And then you got apple strudel, which again is a whole other.
Oh, come on.
We're getting some horticulture overflow happening here. Difference in apple skins. Here we go.
Yeah, but honestly, this is the thing. You can only taste in a whiskey what you have personally experienced.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't make up the BS because that's kind of what everybody's doing. We all go on a Dunning-Kruger kind of pathway in whiskey. And eventually, at some point, you realise you know absolutely naffle and you just need to listen and learn. And that happens normally at a whiskey festival when someone like me looks at you and goes, stop being so silly. But having worked in aviation, there are whiskies that I can honestly say taste like dirty oil because I have tasted dirty oil. It is not nice. It is disgusting, right? And I have picked that up within a whiskey. There are other whiskies where I've noted, this is a Dunning-Kruger kicking in. Oh, it just tastes like, the snapped branch of a cotinus bush, right? No one knows what the hell that. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Let's just call it floral, right? Okay. But that particular bush has a particular scent to it when you snap the branch. Now, only people in horticulture who are going around and doing that, or, I can show you what it looks like, go out and find a cotinus bush and snap a branch. That's the only way you're going to understand what that smells like. It's a nonsensical tasting thing. It only means something to me. It doesn't mean anything to anybody else.
Right.
But again, that's kind of okay. But if we're educating people on whiskey and tasting notes, you got to go with your audience.
Simplify it. I very much simplify. All right. Any other whiskey questions, you guys, before I do my horticulture question?
I can't believe you're going to do that to me.
It's
literally not in that industry anymore.
I don't want to go way off the rails here, so I just want to make sure we have all our whiskey.
Stay on the whiskey.
Sean and Jerry.
Claire's the only. This is totally not whiskey related, but Claire's the only person who's as avid a airplane fan as I am, and I thought I was such a nerd. Me growing up, I had these box full size cards that I collected from planes from World War I all the way to current. I still go and find stuff videos on YouTube and just learn about crazy planes and then kindred spirit here. She's going and sitting and drinking coffee next to a runway, and I'm like, what the hell? I want to do that.
Yeah. And it's and we had a conversation about that too. I think it was the runway post. But I know Sean and I have talked about this before because my grandpa, he trained Spitfire pilots in Brandon, Manitoba in the Second World War. So Sean and I Sean and I like a lot of the same things, but I remember having that conversation with you as
Yeah,
well.
no, I'm lucky. I live in Southeast London, and Biggin Hill, which is obviously a famous old RAF base, is not far away to me, and it is a Spitfire base. And
So
there's a
cool.
great cafe at the end of the runway. And on a good day, a good flying day, those Spitfires are up every 45 minutes doing flights. And I know people will pay thousands to come on holiday just to come and do that. And I can go and do that anytime, which is pretty cool.
Sean, we should go do that.
We should.
Yes,
yeah.
we should.
We can sit and
PWS
have
trip.
coffee with Claire and watch
Yeah.
Spitfires fly by.
And then go to Mock Loop. We've talked about Mock Loop
Oh,
tons.
yes.
It's like this valley where the jets fly like through the
Training
valley
loop,
sideways, and you like sit up on a hill. Like if you YouTube it, it's crazy. The other thing before Travis goes on to this plant quest is
It's not a quest.
one other
One
topic
question.
that you.
Just one.
One other thing that actually like Claire and I've talked about a bit, and it's due to our wives' age and Claire's age, is the whole menopause thing. And Travis had mentioned something earlier today about an article about spit or swallow. I don't know if that's the one, but you talked about how like you drank during the day because if you drank at night, you would feel ill. And same thing with red wine, like you said, the wine would make you sick. And my wife is going through that big time right now. And I know like
So there is
a couple
hope on the
little
horizon.
tidbits that you've.
Right, so let's do this because absolutely. I've always said, like when I was younger, you heard about the menopause, and I was like, that's never going to happen to me. I'm fit, I'm healthy, I've had physical jobs all my life, blah blah blah. And no one had even heard about perimenopause at that stage. And over the last, I don't know, I would say 5 years, but looking back on it, it's probably been 8 years. Stuff changes. Like I started back in 2018, I started smelling smoke all the time. I was having MRIs and CT scans to try and find out what was going on. Absolutely nothing came up. You're fit and healthy. And then, my ability to do physical work began to change. Working in horticulture, that's a little bit of a career killer. I used to be able to do 8 hours solid a day, come home, go to the gym in the evening. Now I can, I was getting to the point I could only do 2 hours, come home and absolutely crash because every part of my body hurts. And then I started looking into it, and because of my age, the Instagram algorithm picked up, oh, here's some menopause posts. I'm like, fuck off. I'm not that old. Actually, I started to take them seriously. I'm like, some of this starts to ring true. And it's simple. It's other things. It's like brain fog. And I was forgetting words, and I was losing words, and it was ridiculous. And I'm kind of, forget, I'm a clever person, okay? And I was unable to find simple words for things. And then the level of drinking started to drop, and I love drinking. I really, really do. And it got to the point where I wasn't even fancying a drink. Like there was no call in my body to go and have a drink. And I just naturally sort of dropped off drinking for a couple of years, which as a whiskey brand ambassador is really difficult. And so that's where the spit or swallow thing came in, because I was able to take the whiskey into my mouth, but I knew that if I swallowed it, especially if it was later in the day, I would not sleep that night, and maybe not for the next night either. It was quite intense. So fast forward to finding a GP that listens and has been educated, and I am now on therapy. It's like the only Western medicine that I have taken for about 30 years. I don't even do painkillers. And it has made a huge difference. And I am drinking again. It is so nice to be able to drink. Honestly, I was up in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Whisky Fringe. And after festivals in the evenings, it's really common for brand ambassadors just to go out and chill and have a beer. The last thing you want after a whiskey festival all day is whiskey. We like beer. And someone says, oh, you come in? And my normal answer is, no, I'm done with partying. I've got 20 years on you lot. I'm tired. I'm going to go and have a mug of green tea. And I was like, oh, actually, yeah. I fancy a beer. So I went for a beer and knocked it back. It was one of those great big steins, and it was in frozen glass, and it was just beautiful. And I knocked it back in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. And the guy I was working with was like, Jesus, like, you haven't drunk like that for ages. I'm like, I need another one. And I was like, oh my God, I can drink. And that's where like the hormone therapy has started to kick back in. Like my estrogen levels have come back up. And I can drink again. Now I still have to be a little bit careful because too much at the wrong time. And yeah, I probably won't sleep very well. But it's nice to be able to not do that. But day drinking's cool. I love day drinking. And being freelance is, I'm known for, microdosing my coffee when I'm writing at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I think the beer after pouring at a whiskey festival for 4 hours is one of the best beers you will ever.
It really is, right? Especially if it's really cold.
Yeah, it's a magical beer. Can I say 2 things? One, I can't wait to add that we talked about menopause on the show notes. I think it's going to get us a lot of hits.
Dude, I think I might have it based on what she said.
Yeah. You can't. I don't think you can do that,
Jared. Taking our menopause away from us as well, right?
You cannot do that, Jared.
From a business point of view, and I think this is important. There is a group of women between the ages of, I don't know, between 35 and 65, although it can be earlier and later, whose drinking habits will change. And that will have an impact on the market. Now, that's a tangible impact because if I was going to a whiskey bar, 3 or 4 times a week for a couple of drams, and then suddenly I stop because I don't fancy it, then that whiskey bar has lost money because I'm unable to tolerate alcohol.
Right.
We need to look at that. And that's why I sort of say in that article, RTDs, ready to drink, slightly lower alcohol beverages, but still with premium whiskey would be great. Day drinking is great. Get on it. Do you know what I mean? Because you can finish drinking by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon and maybe get a good night's sleep afterwards. But drink responsibly, people. Just put that one in there. But yeah, that women work in the industry and we purchase from the industry. There's a buying power there, and the industry needs to recognize that to some extent and maybe work around it in order to keep the money coming in. Because not only are we choosing to maybe not drink so we can have a decent night's sleep, we have this whole level of extra being healthy around it as well. So there's a natural drop off of drinking, especially for generations below Gen X. It's everyone talks about GLP-1s and Gen Z. No, you need to be looking at this sector of women because they're big. They're big in the market, and they're going to affect the market whether you realize it or not.
How would you change your? I guess how would you change your marketing or your anything to adjust for that? That wasn't a question I have.
For me, I think from my personal experience, I've mixed my drinks more. Okay, I am a huge advocate of whacking cherry Coke in with most whiskies. Like cherry Coke is one of the best flavors in the world.
Hell yeah!
And it really, right, exactly. So and most brand ambassadors and people that work who are in the industry, they mix their whiskey. There's none of this kind of drink it neat only, blah blah. Have it how you want it. But for me, yes, I have been mixing it more because it kind of lowers the ABV, still tastes good, blah blah. Which is why I think decent cans of RTDs are a really, really good idea. But make it a good whiskey. And I'd love a Jig 18 with cherry Coke in a can. It's not going to happen, but maybe a Sinclair.
We got to talk to the two stacks people
at home, right? But also for bars, to be looking at, let's have brunch that lasts not just to maybe midday 1 o'clock, but actually to 3-4 o'clock. Let's have a different style of drinking. Because I kind of still want to. I still want to be sociable, and right. With the hormone therapy, it has definitely worked. yeah, I just think I think the market needs to understand that women are 50% of it, at least.
Yeah, and I that's just a whole conversation that I never even. I mean, again, we're ignorant idiots, and that's kind of a cool new thing to look at. I saw on Instagram the other day another term that you can use for menopause. It's called cougar puberty.
Wait, what?
I'll be honest with you.
Can you name your article "Cougar Puberty" when you write about it?
No, because because I why would I? Spit or swallow got the reads in.
Yeah.
People just like, that's clickbait, and I went for that. But I actually think it's more. I'm going to swear. It's more fuck it. Like, you don't care so much. First of all, there's an age thing now, and plus me, I really don't care so much. But the filter disappears. I mean, I don't have much filter, but anything that I did have, just it got up and walked away, along with the estrogen. The filter went. So I think you're going to find
I can
a bit more.
I can second that the fuck it attitude has come through in spades. where it used to be, my wife, God bless her, but she would, okay, just go do it, whatever. Now it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing it? Like, okay, whoa. Hey.
I think Jared and I can concur. That's actually a good thing. Totally. That's actually, you need that. That's a very good.
And Erin can do no wrong in my books because she laughs at all my jokes.
Yeah. So. Anytime you get in trouble, we're on Erin's side.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time.
Totally.
All right. My plant question for you. It's the hard one. My wife and I aren't the biggest green thumbs.
All right.
We just want to know, why do all our plants die?
Because you're probably putting the wrong plant in the wrong place.
Shit.
It's that simple.
I killed a cactus.
So in whiskey, there's like this whole gatekeeping thing. Well, it's the same in horticulture, right? And it's kind of, they're both industries are so similar in so many ways. And the gatekeeping thing is one of them. Plants react to three things: light, temperature, and moisture, right? And they all have different levels of those things required in each different plant. They're genetically made up for it, okay? So you just need to, if you're buying a plant that you only ever see in a tropical forest and you're living in a really cold place, that plant's not going to last unless you create a false environment for it, which I don't agree with. You should only be using plants that will work in the place that you're wanting to put it.
Like bringing it
horticulture called right plant, right place. If you get that down, you've got no problems. And honestly, horticulture is so much more simple than people make it out to be.
I'd say the comparison is like bringing an elephant to a zoo in Edmonton. It just doesn't fit. It's not a good idea.
Exactly.
Shouldn't have done it.
So if you wanted me to look at your garden, there's a charge for that. We could do it via Zoom. It's not a problem. I do not work for free.
I'll send some pictures. She just
genuinely it's right plant, right place. And then you start looking at soil and segue into environmental factors, aka terroir. Okay, like it's
oh, here we go.
With a high level of sarcasm, but all those things will affect how your plant works unless you make it a false environment, which means more work for you. No one really wants to do that much work. You want to enjoy a garden, not be constantly working.
Claire, I'm not even talking garden. I'm just talking like a plant in a pot in a house.
Oh, see, there's the problem straight away. Your pot is a bad environment.
Yeah, it's a terrible environment. We just bought one that said needs little water, little sunlight, and I'll let you know how it goes in a month. Well, I'll give you the update. And I'll send you a picture, and you can actually invoice me. I'll send you a picture.
Awesome.
I was gonna say, don't get her to charge you for sending a picture of your garden right now under 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, no,
that's the worst money.
That's easy money, right?
When I said we're not green thumbs, I meant like we don't have a garden. We just have a couple plants, and then Anyways, we gotta let Claire go. I don't know if you're staying awake, Claire, or if you're just
No,
going
it's
back to bed.
5:46, and I'm literally going to go to work in a garden. So I'm going to go and chop down some banana trees, which sounds random for South London, but yeah, it's what I'm doing today.
Oh, Trav, she's way better at this than you are.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
She's better at whiskey than me. She's better at horticulture than me. It's airplanes. There's 3.
Yeah.
Don't feel too threatened, guys. Do you know?
Oh,
Well, thank you so much for coming on with us. It was we've been waiting for this for a while, and then obviously with the time we were like, is it going to work? And you are the hero that made it work at 4:30 a.m. your time. It's like
just thank the
10:45.
perimenopause for that.
Yeah, exactly. No,
No,
we
thank you so
truly
much for
appreciate
having me
it.
on. I really appreciate it. It's been fun, absolutely.
it's awesome. We've loved chatting with you, Claire. Thank you so much. And
I shall.
we'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. I'll click the leave button. See you later, guys.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.
Are we, guys? Are we now investigative journalists?
I think so.
I think we just.
All I know is I really have to pee.
I have to pee so bad.
All right. Cue the pee music.
All right, boys, we're back. Pee break is done.
My dog had to go too. I came out of the bathroom. My dog was just staring at me, like you know. And then when you let your dog out at this time of night, like they're smelling everything. She's rushed coming back. So I'm just standing at the door patiently. Well, I hope the podcast guys aren't waiting for me.
You're all good.
The Claire's, that was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I could have talked to her for another hour for sure.
Easily. Yeah, she was so easy, wealth of knowledge, a lot of fun. She was great.
I had to delete I had like so many more horticulture questions too. I just deleted all of them. And then I had usually we ask people like I had other questions, but I was like, man, we've had her for so long. It's so early/late over there. So we'll just have to have her back next year or something. Next groundbreaking, maybe she brings us on to be her investigative journalist, and then she's just like a regular guest. Like a good podcast have like a regular guest, and we just like break news and like dig into things together.
Love it.
I like it.
We're like Stranger Things, but without the aliens. We're uncovering things that aren't aliens or Russian bad actors. That's also in Stranger Things.
Oh man,
my kids might actually like that part of the podcast.
There you go.
They hate the rest of the podcast. They might like that I mentioned Stranger Things.
They like the song too.
Yeah, they play the song, and then 2 minutes later, they're like, "Can you please go to the end when Lockie says good night?" And that's all they want to hear. That's it. The song. They
might not be the only ones.
Yeah. They want to hear the first 5 seconds and the last 1.5 seconds. And that's it. But maybe now I can be like, but I talk about Stranger Things for 13 seconds.
Yeah, make them listen through on YouTube.
Yes, because you got to get those.
We got to get those listening hours up.
Still counts as a view.
Oh, I'm taking it. Should we pull the bung?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's drink some whiskey. I just picked up my samples today. Yesterday, they came to my door. Nobody was at home. Classic. So I had to pick them up today. This is my first time sipping through them. And
so last month it was Sean drinking for the first time. This month it's you drinking them for the first time.
Yeah, and 1 month I didn't have them at all. So actually, props to Whiskey Drop.
Yeah,
I'm drinking them this episode.
It's been like minus 600 here, so like the fact that they were able to ship it out to you when it was so cold is awesome. They delayed, obviously, because it was so cold, but they still got to you on time.
They got to me. They made it happen. They've been awesome, actually.
Even whiskey freezes.
Truth.
So what are we doing, Jer? Do you have your list there?
What do we got? Episode 5, whiskeys. So we are starting with the Signatory Vintage 100 proof North British 15 year.
Yeah. And then number 2 is
Gordon and MacPhail Connoisseur's Choice Glenburgie 2008. It's a 16 year. That one is a first fill sherry hogshead. I love Glenburgie. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too. Connoisseur's Choice was like one of the first, like, there's something about Connoisseur's Choice. I have it in the notes later. It'll come up later. There's something cool about Connoisseur's Choice, a fun fact.
All right.
We'll get back to it.
And then third one is the North Star Caol Ila 18. And it's a Pinot Noir finish on that one. Dude, I'm nosing that one. It smells incredible.
Should we, because you're attacking these for the first time, Sean and I already have some early notes. Should we do ours first and you come in at the end and chime in? Would that be best for you?
I think let's just start going through them, because I know for the North British anyway, I'm a North British fan. I enjoy North British. And when I pick this one up and smell it, you can tell right away. To me anyway, like I've had a few North British. So I knows this and I'm like, that's a North British. Like I can pick it up right away.
See, and that's crazy. I don't want to call bullshit, but I also am like single grains. Being able to differentiate single grains is kind of crazy because they run through those column stills and they get stripped to death and they come out at like, I don't know, what is it, like 90% alcohol, Sean, out of the column stills?
Yeah, it's crazy high.
And it's like all cask influence. But I think Sean would probably agree with you that he can pick out a North British. I don't think I can.
So, okay, let me caveat it then.
Yeah.
It's like based on other North British I have tried.
Yeah.
I'm able to pick this out as similar to those.
Yeah.
For sure.
And this isn't, I'm not calling bullshit and like you're a fucking liar, Jeremy. I'm just saying
I know.
It's a little bit harder to me to differentiate single grains as opposed to single malts.
Totally.
That's all.
I do think though, with the amount of single grains that I drink, that there are definitely like characteristics that come from it. Now, some of them use different grains in it, so obviously that's going to influence the taste. You'll be able to pick that out. But like North British, generally they're using 85% French corn or maize and 15% malted barley. It's a pretty standard ratio that they use. Some of the other ones might use more corn, less corn, wheat, rye, whatever. So like when you dig into single grains as much as I have over the past few years, you can tell it. Like there are like Strathclyde, I can usually tell. Cambus has a very distinct taste to me. But again, those are, and North British, those are the three that I drink the most of.
I think my wife might like this because she loves bourbon, and this is 85% corn. I feel like this would be right up her alley, actually. So let's get into the whiskey, Sean. You love single grain, so why don't you go through this one and tell people about everything?
Yeah. So should we leave pricing for all of them to the end?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So mix of first fill and second fill Oloroso sherry butts alongside bourbon barrels. So obviously the 100 proof range from Signatory Vintage, it's 100 proof British Imperial proof, so 57.1%. It's a line that they've kind of started in the last couple of years. I love it. 57.1 kind of sits right at the precipice of where my palate is like perfect. With this one, like I said, I want to say I read somewhere there's 3,000 bottles of this that were produced, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's grain. That's the first thing I noticed. You can, even in like super heavily sherried single grains, you can still pull that grain, which I love. And it still stands out.
Totally.
But this isn't heavily sherry.
This, I think,
No.
no, it's sherry and bourbon. So,
Yeah.
which is crazy because a lot of those Signatory vintage ones, the 100 proof,
Sherry.
come very sherried. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they actually use some bourbon in this. And that was the very first line I wrote when I tried them last night was, it's a true act of balance. You get the bourbon cask, the grain distillate, you get the sherry cask come in. Nothing is overpowering anything else. And it's just balanced. It drinks lower than 57.1 for me. That was the first thing I noticed last night. Compared to number 2, which is roughly the same ABV, that one drank way hotter.
To me, it's mid 50s or higher. Is what's drinking for me. Maybe 55, but I wouldn't say it's drinking like super hot. But it's not like tasting 48 to me.
I think it was just because
I think I would agree with that.
The two. I compared the two, and the second one just seemed hotter.
Yeah, and they're very close.
And they're very close, yeah.
So you're talking about this is obviously sherry casks and bourbon casks blended together. So is this an actual single cask, or is this a multi-cask release? Like, or do they blend a few casks together and it's like 1,500 bottles or something?
Well, he said there's 3,000.
I think I read that.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that
when I was researching. Yeah. So the Signatory vintage ones are all like a batch.
Okay. The Signatory vintage 100 proof ones.
Yeah.
Because the Signatory vintage core ones with the black tin, those are single casks.
Yeah.
Right.
So the notes from the producer, they talk about, and I always love bringing up the producer notes because this is like the picture they're trying to paint. And I think one thing I really like doing is like saying, I don't know. And anytime there's sherry involved, I feel like they try and like talk about those dark dried fruit notes, right? Like those. And I'm, again, with this, beautifully balanced, and you can tell that there's some sherry cask influence there, but I'm not getting those dark dried fruit notes on this. It's more, I'm getting grain, I'm getting some raisin kind of notes, but not like, to me, this doesn't speak of like dark dried fruits like I would think like a typical full sherry cask maturation. I don't know if that's what you're getting.
Yeah, I agree. Like in their producer notes, they say spiced oak, and I pull that for sure.
Way more than dark dried fruits.
Way more than dark dried fruits. Absolutely.
Yeah. And bourbon driven toffee and honey, I get that as well.
Yeah.
Over the sherry. I think the sherry is more like,
it's the nuance.
Yeah, it's more just kind of complementing it all, like a nicely hopped beer where it's not over hopped. It's just kind of like, or a nice lightly peated whiskey. It's like it's there, but it's not overpowering. I think it was done. My notes were the grain is present, but I also don't think the grain is like. I know you can tell it's a grain, especially after tasting to the next two. But when I first nosed and tasted, it wasn't like pop you in the face grain. I think the grain is there, but it's not like, I think the casks, the bourbon and the sherry casks are kind of like not hiding it, but just it's not tasting like a single grain in a refill bourbon cask for 15 or 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is actually with this whiskey like a really nice harmony.
Yeah.
Between all of them. Yeah. So balance is a great word for it. It's you pull a bit of everything. It's not sherry forward to me anyway. But yeah, you get the like spiced oak. You can for sure pick up that it's a grain, but there is a nice harmony to all of it. That this is a nice whiskey.
And I know like one detractor that a lot of people have with grains is that the finishes fall off a cliff. And this one, like I found last night, I had to wait a bit because the finish actually carried on for quite some time compared to most grains that you drink. Like I haven't taken a sip in probably 3-4 minutes and it's still there.
Can I give you guys some North British fun facts while we finish sipping on this one?
Please.
Can I tell you my favorite one first?
Yeah.
So they make 60 to 70 million liters a year. And to do that, they import 3,300 tons of French corn per week.
What?
Yeah. 3,300 tons of French maize per week is imported to their distillery.
Which is pouring
way.
truck after truck just up the conveyor.
Yeah, it's like got me nonstop.
Crazy.
That's
Anyways, you can tell the
wild.
rest. That's my favorite one.
That's crazy. Jim Beam, 100 million liters a year. North British, 60 to 70. Culloden Distillery in Ireland, 4,000. That might be high. I don't know what the number is. Yeah, so it's actually now owned by Diageo and Edrington.
Mm-hmm.
But what's kind of cool was that when it was first founded in the late 1800s, it was actually built as an opposition to Diageo having a monopoly on all the grain distilleries. So when it was originally built, it was actually Andrew Usher, which we should ask Graham from WHISKYDROP if that's the Usher that because I know he has family ties to the Usher family that was involved in the whiskey industry. I think this is the same Usher.
He will not let you even mention North British without bringing that up.
Okay, so there you go. So
there you go. Awesome.
The store that sponsored us is owned by the great grand cousin of Andrew Usher. So
it was uncle, nephew.
Uncle. There you go. And so they started this distillery because Diageo, DCL at the time, had a monopoly, and they were basically controlling all the grain production that was going into the blends. So they started this North British to basically give an option for other distilleries to use in their blends, or other companies, I guess. So kind of cool. Now they're owned by Diageo like everybody else. But yeah, that was kind of my fun fact on North British as we go through the line. I'm going to say really enjoyable dram.
Totally.
The other thing with the owners is Edrington. Obviously, we know that as the famous grouse blend, the Edrington blend, and that's what grain goes into famous grouse is North British. So whether you think you've drank it or not, you probably have.
My guess is Edrington was involved earlier, and then famous grouse kind of maybe bought in and was like, we want some of your grain. You're making 70 million liters a year. We'll take some off you. That's just my guess. I don't know the full history, but
totally. That's how I got into North British, was through famous grouse.
Yeah. The Josh Ward
totally
heathen
totally
influence where like he's like, man, you gotta try this. Hell yeah, man. And you're like, I'll do anything you tell me right now.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. And he just sends stuff, and it's dude, like famous grouse. That's how I got into famous grouse. He's like, I got some stuff you should try, and he sent me like 10 famous grouse samples, and still one of them I think about all the time. Like, it was so good. But then you kind of branch out from there. So that's how I got into North British.
Yeah, it's that's part of the industry. That's part of this community, man. Best whiskey community in the world.
It is. It really is.
Let's move on to number 2. And because I think we'll have a long conversation about all 3 again at the end. But
oh man, the nose on this.
Holy.
So this is whiskey number 2, Gordon and MacPhail, Connoisseur's Choice, Glenburgie, 2008. It's a 16-year. Beautiful color Sean's showing on the screen.
I'm showing them Gordon MacPhail glass.
So Gordon MacPhail, this is just going into my notes. They were like the first independent bottler. And it was like the late 1800s. 1895, and they were a grocer and a wine merchant, and they started buying casks and stuff off of these distilleries just to sell in their stores, basically. But Connoisseur's Choice, Gordon and MacPhail, George Urquhart, part of the Urquhart family, they've owned Gordon and MacPhail for like 4 or 5 generations. He was named he's called the single malt pioneer. So he basically kicked off like single malt whiskey becoming a thing. in 1968, and it was through the Connoisseur's Choice line of whiskeys.
Crazy.
So this kind of kick-started single malt, this line of whiskeys, Connoisseur's Choice. That's very cool to me.
Oh, man. Dude,
But the whiskey itself this is first fill sherry hogshead. Is that full maturation? I think it is.
It must be.
Pretty sure.
It is. Yeah, you can just smell it. You're like, yeah, it is. 57.5%, so just a touch higher than the other. Jerry, you can chime in and say if it tastes that much hotter than the North British or if Sean's just making stuff up because he's biased to grains.
Like doing these back to back, it does drink a bit hotter to me.
Like 0.4% hotter or a lot hotter?
It feels hotter than 0.4% hotter. It's like, I agree with you. I don't think the North British drank like a 46 or 48. It felt higher than that to me. This feels hotter than the North British though. But it's, again, like mid 50s is probably, that's kind of my happy place in ABV.
Yeah.
This is 57.5. Like I would sit down with this all day long. If we were drinking this in a vacuum test with nothing up against it, I wouldn't complain about how hot it is, if that makes sense.
No.
Like it's, dude, this is awesome.
So if you're telling somebody, again, go back to whiskey number one, they have dark dried fruits. I'm surprised they didn't use fruitcake or Christmas cake, but this is fruitcake
All day long.
yeah, right? So like when I see
Fruitcake.
dark dried fruits, this is kind of the more towards what I'm expecting. So I'm just saying that one's this. When you're talking about like when you want to explain to someone what does fruitcake smell like in a whiskey, this is it.
It's it for sure.
There's like a Christmas dessert my stepmom served me from Newfoundland this year. It's like her mom's old recipe. Is it called like rice pudding or something where it's got all the same stuff? It's not rice pudding. It's a different kind of a cake. Similar to Christmas cake, but a little bit different. Do you guys know the name?
No.
He's going to kill me for forgetting this.
That's Josh Ward.
My stepmom doesn't listen to the podcast, so I'm going to have to send this to her and say, can you please listen and correct me?
Please help us.
And subscribe and follow.
This is okay. So producer notes on this, they do say balanced by cracked pepper and oak, and it's right. Like, what's that?
No. I'm just saying no. I don't get that. Do you?
I get a spice on the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what the heat is, I think.
I think that's what the heat is. I don't know if I'd specifically say cracked pepper, but there is a spice on the end. I like it. I like a spicy kind of finish on a whiskey.
Actually,
Yeah.
compared to the nose, the palate is much more nuanced, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you nose this, you're like, I know exactly what's coming, but the palate actually has more to it for me than the nose. Just it gave me more than I was expecting. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a really nice whiskey.
Yeah. So, like, we need to give a shout out because this is an independent bottler episode. Gordon and MacPhail is the GOAT, in my opinion. We're going to talk about that
100%.
later.
100%.
They are the OGs. We have like other facts on them later, but like, and again, I messaged James Bourne today. I was like, you need to start sponsoring this podcast, dude, because all we do is rave about your brands, your
Totally.
fancy brands, and
I mean, it helps he has amazing brands.
he has ridiculous brands.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyways, I did a little bit of research on Gordon MacPhail for this. We're not going to go deep into it. Same families owned it for 4 or 5 generations. It's just a super cool independent bottler, and they are the OGs, and they are like, they kind of kicked off this whole single malt revolution with this Connoisseur's Choice line. It's all super nerdy and fun. Glenburgie
Oh no, go.
No, I was just going to say, you go ahead, Sean. I was just going to say, talk about Glenburgie Distillery a little bit before we go to the next one.
Oh, I was just going to go over like my notes from last night, and I still think they're fairly accurate right now. Juicy and succulent. hit a sherry up front, followed by more lighter and red fruits, berries. And the malt shows through. There's some chocolate and coffee-like notes with a little bit of fresh leather, and then or with fresh leather buttless chaps. Yeehaw! That was my note.
What's the difference between fresh leather and old leather? It's just that musty dustiness is missing.
Yeah, it's like a sharper. Fresh leather has like a sharper smell, freshly oiled and stuff. But buttless chaps, I mean, come on.
I need to start doing what Claire said and just like smelling shit everywhere I go.
100%.
Sniffing
buttless chaps.
Just like people's
Make sure you
hair
go
at
in
the
the middle.
mall.
People's hair at the mall.
Go into the leather shop at West Edmonton Mall, smell the chaps, smell the person's hair.
Make sure they're not on the person that you're smelling there.
Yeah, don't smell those chaps.
It's
Actually, not in the middle. Not in the middle.
okay, I will say, so if I bought this whiskey just looking at the information on the bottle, so we got like it's a Glenburgie 16-year-old first fill sherry, 57.5%. If I bought this without tasting it and then cracked the bottle, started drinking it, it literally does everything I would hope that it would do.
For 200, we're not supposed to talk about price.
Don't talk about the price, but I like Glenburgie. I like sherry cask whiskeys. It kind of just fits the bill in every way. I'm like, it's
a sherry bomb. Can we call it a sherry bomb?
Yeah.
What's the hesitation? 16 years in first fill sherry.
But I've had, I don't know. You go, Sean. You go.
I was going to say the same thing. I've had way more sherry heavy bottles of whiskey.
And again, the palate is more nuanced, so I understand what you're saying. It's
but if you only nosed it, you'd be like, holy shit, this is a sherry bomb. Like,
yeah,
sure,
totally.
But how it does balance out quite a bit.
There's some good character. Like I almost want to say, Trav, there's more character than just a straight sherry bomb.
No, totally. And I think I'm just talking about the nosing experience.
Okay.
And the palate, and I already said the palate, it's more nuanced than you would think after nosing this, where you would just be like, oh boy, another sherry bomb. But then, like you said, that spice note that comes out, there's more to it. I don't even know how to describe what's happening there, but
yeah, it is. It's a cool whiskey, man. Gordon and MacPhail.
Glenburgie, super old distillery too, 1829. So like 6 years after the Excise Act, way before the big boom in distilleries. So like they're early days.
Mm-hmm.
4.2 million liters a year. It's about average in Scotland. Maybe a little above average now with all the new distilleries. But rarely seen as a single malt. And Gordon and MacPhail gets most Glenburgie casks. It was actually like, when I did some research, it's like rarely seen as a single malt. Gordon and MacPhail often will release it. Not often, now and then. But like you don't see a ton of Glenburgie. I've reached out to a couple suppliers and said, like, if you see some Burgie, and there might be some coming, but it's not an easy distillery come because almost all of it goes into Ballantine's, which is the second highest selling whiskey in the world. So they don't need us. They don't need us for their sales.
No.
I did on Travis's behalf dig up some information. Glenburgie uses a 52-hour fermentation.
Yeah, that's just average. That's below average now. Below average on time. I'm not saying it's below average on quality. I'm just saying 52 hours is basically enough time to convert that yeast for the yeast to convert the sugar into alcohol. That's about the bare minimum fermentation time in Scotland. 48 hours might be the lowest, but 52 is actually very, very low these days. Sometimes distilleries will just let it ride over the weekend and they get a few more hours in, but I've kind of stopped nerding out about fermentation because, like, I don't know, no one cares. No one wants to listen to me talk about these things anymore.
I do.
Air does.
it's weird because because you're such a fermentation nerd, I've started paying attention to it a lot more.
The new distilleries are all doing it longer, which says something.
Yeah.
It's okay. So let's touch on this a little bit because we know some people that swear that longer fermentation doesn't really affect it.
Yes.
But man, based on what I've tasted with longer fermentations and younger whiskeys, I'm like, dude, I think it does.
The people who say it doesn't matter are just talking literally scientifically. If you're just talking about converting sugar to alcohol using yeast, 50 hours or 48 hours or 55 is kind of all it takes.
Right.
But there's full-blown science that says there's other shit going on after that, especially with open top, where stuff is coming in.
Like seagull shit and stuff.
Seagull shit. If you're blowing and they're just parking it in the parking lot in a plastic tote for a week.
Totally.
You telling me that's not different than in a closed top fermenter in a distillery in a controlled environment?
It's completely different. It's completely different. Dude, and Killowan's a good example because I think tasted 3-year-old whiskey releases from them that I distinctly go, there is something different about this.
Mm.
And to have the longer fermentation not come into play there doesn't make sense to me. Like the math isn't mathing.
It's not even a better or worse thing.
No.
I'm not saying I'm not here to argue that longer is definitely better. I'm here to argue longer is doing something, and I will say character.
Totally.
Coming in from whatever's landing in that thing.
Yeah, totally.
Bimber had crazy fermenters one week as well, where they actually lowered the temperature of the washbacks so that the fermentation could go longer without all the yeast dying off. So that was a whole other thing. They kept the yeast alive longer. I'm pretty sure at Killowan the yeast dies off within 50 hours, and then it's just random shit.
Right. Bimber's a good example though, because they have had some younger whiskeys that I was super impressed with.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch that goes into that. And I would say if you talk to Bimber or even like Gurpreet at Anoka, they'll talk cut points probably are the biggest factor in releasing a young whiskey. I think fermentation is just a whole other. I talked to Brendan at Killowan about doing 2 releases, one called winter, one called summer. And it's purely a one with just all the fermentation being done, left out for a week in the summer, and one in an Ireland winter. And then releasing them with all other things as much as possible being kept exactly the same. And just see how different just winter and summer in the same environment, same exact spot on the driveway. That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. I feel like it would give us something to kind of go to the specific science people and be like, there is a difference. If there is, right?
And then they'll be like,
there's something different.
But then you go to, those casks from Boulder Spirits distilled in the same week, put in the same spot in the warehouse for the same amount of time, and 3 samples, and they were all completely different.
Totally.
So it doesn't really matter. There's nothing. That's why Waterford. Sorry, Sean. That's why Waterford didn't make it. You can't pretend that you're controlling everything the same, but then where you grew the grain was it. There's too many other factors, and it's all chaos. And that's the best part about it. It's all chaos.
That's the nature of whiskey, though.
Yeah,
is the factors change.
Yeah,
with every production run. Totally.
It's literally black magic.
It's black magic. There's no rhyme or reason, and you can't convince me otherwise. And go walk through the warehouse at Anoka with Gurpreet, and he'll be like, "Yeah, this one, it's just different."
Totally.
So it's just different. Okay, this whiskey's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Should we move on to number 3 and then come back, kind of sum it all up?
Let's do it.
This is friggin' delicious. Before tonight, this was just on my pre-sampling where I only poured a little bit. This is my number one of the three. But that could change tonight. I don't know.
Oh, dude, the nose on this guy.
Yeah.
Are we on number 3 now?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Holy.
Whiskey number
So
3.
my notes.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I'll just do the whiskey, then you do the notes. North Star Caol Ila, 18-year-old Pinot Noir Seguin, like Seguin Moreau Icone finish.
I think that's the name of the winery that the Pinot Noir came from.
I'm thinking of like Seguin, the Seg. How do you pronounce the guy that plays for the Dallas Stars now? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a Penguin Pinot Noir cask. Anyways,
my
Pinot Noir,
God, though.
54.4%. Sean, what do you get in here?
Okay, so softened peat, obviously, with 18 years. A little bit of brash up front on the palate. Red fruits, that caramel sweetness. There was like a touch of the salty kind of maritime notes that I found in there. And then this one, the finish on it went on for miles. It was like peat with a bit of sweetness. Sweetness kind of fades away first, and then you're just left with like a little bit of spice in that peat, and it just went on.
This is one of those whiskeys you pour for someone that like they're like kind of like peat, but well, maybe they don't like peat. And you're like, I'm gonna pour you something that has some peat, but it's gonna absolutely fucking knock your socks off.
It's okay, so I haven't tasted yet, but the nose is my favorite of the 3 tonight.
It's way more nuanced than number 2 for sure.
Holy.
I would say nose wise, it's between 1 and 3. It just nose alone.
Like, I think if Josh from last episode was nosing the 3 of these whiskeys, he would keep this one to taste it.
100% he would.
Oh, man.
Sean, you love Pinot Noir wine cask whiskeys, don't you?
I love peat, especially peat, but I love wine cask whiskeys.
Yeah. Is it because you're kind of a sherry head? Like you picked Kilkerran 16 as one of your top whiskeys of the year. And you love shit, but wine casks are a little bit more of a delicate kind of a touch on the whiskey, no? Than say
wine casks. I think wine casks can go wrong a lot more, a lot easier than sherry. I think you can get an off whiskey with wine casks way easier. But I've also like some of my favorite whiskeys ever come from wine casks, like that Voodoo grain that was in 13 years in red wine. Like that one is unreal.
Harsbridge.
So good. I think you're right. I think it's easier for it to go wrong, but when it goes right, it pays off like big time. And I just took a sip of this and I fucking think it paid off. This is awesome.
So this is North Star, which is, we're going to do our top 5 IBs each. North Star has been climbing probably a lot of people's ranks since jumping into our world probably, 3 years ago, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
North Star has been around probably 4 or 5 years, but like getting more and more the last three-ish years.
That 35-year grain you poured for everyone at my house? That 35-year-old North Star grain? Like we had a $3,000 whiskey here that night. Sean poured a North Star 35-year-old blended grain, and it was like right up there with it was a $3,500 like Mortlach Gordon MacPhail.
Yeah, that Quaif bought, and he picked He picked the blended grain.
He
as
picked
his
the
favorite
blended
of
as
the
his
night.
favorite of the night, and he brought the Gordon MacPhail Mortlach.
He brought 2 of those Mortlachs.
No
2 different years.
way.
Yeah.
It's Sean, was it North Star that we poured?
It's that same whiskey that we're talking about.
It's the same whiskey we're talking about. Like, it's Shauna and I did at his place. What was the brand that they had
House of
sent?
Hazelwood?
House of Hazelwood.
Some Hazelwood. That was in Sean's kitchen.
Sean's kitchen. And like they were awesome, but we poured them against North Star, and North Star was a fraction of the price, and there was at least 1 or 2 that we could have sworn was the same liquid.
Their prices are
they were
very good.
They were the same vintage, same year,
Yeah.
and they were both blended grain. So what I'm guessing is that there was a bunch of casks of blended grain that were, distilled in 1982, that were sold off to a broker, and then all these brands, all these IBs, bought them, and House of Hazelwood wanted like $4,800 Canadian for a bottle of theirs.
Yeah.
And the North Star was like 230, and Travis and I stumbled upon it in some random store in Calgary that he went to visit when we were there pouring at an event. He's like, I just got to pop into this store. And as he's talking to the dude, I'm like, obviously looking at the whiskeys. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then
Right.
What was that
we
store
ended up
called
getting
again?
2 of them. Oh man, Urban something. I don't know.
Oh, I'll find it. Because we went back and bought whatever they had left.
Yeah,
I mean, this was, what was it, $300?
not even. It was 2 something.
Yeah. Sorry, for a 35-year-old blended grain that competed with a couple $1,000 Gordon MacPhail Mortlach. And the Mortlach was delicious. It wasn't a knock on the,
That blended grain comes up in my top 10 whiskeys of all time. I always include that because it just like unreal.
It was so good. And I think again, not a knock on House of Hazelwood, because those were awesome whiskeys. But just when we put them up against North Star, there was one for sure that we were like, I could swear this is the same stock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And for a fraction of the price, obviously it was North Star is the better deal there. I got invited to a House of Hazelwood event recently, but I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, but Jeremy, influencers don't matter. We've discussed this.
I would have taken pictures, not sip the whiskey and laugh.
No.
It's as a true influencer.
Just show up, let people take your picture, you take their pictures, hold a glass, and then leave.
Dude, I almost got into this with Claire, but I did attend an event in Vancouver. I'll leave all names out of it. And I was super disappointed because at the end of the event, there was a bunch of like high profile influencers there, and they were all like taking video, taking photos. But at kind of the end of it, everyone dispersed. And I was like, most of these people didn't even touch the whiskey.
Yeah, it's nuts. They're just nuts. That's why I appreciate James Bourne's approach with those 80-year-old.
100%.
Because he's like, I just want people that'll come here and drink it and appreciate it. Okay, before we ramble on too long, the couple of things here. First of all, North Star Spirits, they were founded in 2016, so they're pretty new, 9 years old, 10 years, I guess. But they're also building a distillery in Campbelltown. So after we're done the reviews, I want to talk about this because independent bottlers, like 7 or 8 years ago, just started building distilleries. And I think we should talk about kind of why we think they did that and whether or not now, looking back, it was a good idea or not because of the market.
Right.
Let's see.
Building or purchasing.
Yeah, or purchasing.
Yeah.
My note on this one, and I'm enjoying it more than I did on my first pour, but the peat is subtle it's Caol Ila. We all know what Caol Ila tastes like. The peat's subtle. It's 18 years old. Lefroy 18 is subtle. I used to be able to buy Lafroig 18 for like $120 at Chateau Louis, I think.
Good.
Like, it was crazy. Me and my brother bought a bottle.
Good old days. Yeah.
And the peat was very subtle. I don't think I would have picked this as a Caol Ila blind, to be honest. I don't know if I would have known after 18 years that it's Caol Ila. You can pick out Caol Ila when it's younger, I think, typically, but I don't think I would have picked this as a Caol Ila.
I'd agree with that. There's
a note in the producer note, 2-stroke fumes from like to me, 2-stroke fumes is like a bit of a, I don't get any of that. This is way too delicate and beautiful to have 2-stroke fumes in your tasting note. Sean, you were the one that said, wait till you see the tasting notes. Do you? I don't get that at all.
Dude, that to me on this whiskey is almost a diss.
Yeah, I start chainsaws once a week at work. They don't smell like this.
No, like, dude, I think that tasting note does this whiskey a disservice.
100% agree.
That's for the nose. That's what they put, like 2-stroke fumes from a Suzuki ER50 racing through Pachia Stitchiness, which is Sitka spruce, up the back of Dunoon, which is like a valley.
That goes back to that whiskey bites, dude, talking about you're fucking complicating your notes too much. I North Star, I appreciate you. I appreciate this whiskey, but you're complicating things too much. Like,
I agree, dude. It's awesome. Don't complicate it with 2-stroke fumes.
Yeah, it's delicious. So
yeah,
I don't know what else to say about it. It's really.
But like, so their notes for the palate is 18 years to soften the peat reek just enough to glide with sweetness and aromatic complexity due to 5 years in French oak. Like, okay,
that's way better.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Coats your mouth with a dry. The peat hangs around and says hello. It totally hangs around. The experience of this whiskey does not finish when you take a sip.
No,
but it's not lingering like sometimes you drink a whiskey and it's just kind of like, this is lingering in a way that's just like warming your whole mouth.
It's so pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about 200. Okay, let's do this in the buy or not buy. We did a whiskey on the last episode that I want to compare. Same price point.
Okay.
I think we need to compare it to a couple of these.
Okay.
So do you guys want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So price point, whiskey number 1 is $120 for a 15-year-old 100 proof, 57, not 50%, 57.1, not a single cask, but like 3,000 balls, let's say. That might even be high. $120 for single grain, 15 years old, that we all seem to like.
So I think, okay, here's the thing. As a general fan of North British, to me, I go, yeah, I would buy this. Do I know if that would necessarily land with the general public? I don't know. Like, it's very good. Put it up against the other two. Dude, this last one is...
Okay, but we're not talking about the other two because those are more expensive. Just this bottle, $120 for a 15-year-old that we all described as like very cool, balanced.
Yeah.
$120. I'm almost thinking about buying one for my wife because of the corn element.
I would buy it. And I'm a fan of North British, so like 120 is almost a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, like we're not comparing. Let's not compare it to the other ones just yet.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you think?
So, in
we already bought 3.
Yeah, I definitely own this one. But what I was going to say is like, in one of the big groups that I'm in, chat groups, whatever, it always gets brought up like $10 per year, and like I think nowadays for like
It's really good.
Single cask IBs, the $10 per year kind of gets thrown out the window. Like I'm looking, $12, $13 a year.
100%. Yeah.
But when you're getting a 15 year for 120 that falls below that, and like you said, I would have bought this without ever tasting it for 100. I did because I didn't taste it, and $120 for a 15-year North British. I was like, yeah. But again, I'm also biased. I love single grains, and I'll buy as many as I can, especially if they come to the market.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was a buy all day for me.
It's not a single cask. It's not a single cask, but we have other examples in the market, like Carmore Strictly Limited weren't single casks. They were like 3-4 casks, a little bit less than what we have here, but they still were above or right around $10 a year. This is below $10 a year, 57.1% and tasty. Like it's, I don't think I would recommend this to someone who would not, unless there's someone that's just completely opposed to that single grain taste profile, which could be a thing, but I don't think it's as strong enough in this whiskey. Like it's not again, it's not a single grain like you would think of most single grains, in my opinion.
I think what you're differentiating is enthusiasts would like this.
I think so.
Yeah.
General buyers, I wouldn't recommend this out of the gate for them.
No, but again, let's go back. Let's go to number 2.
Okay.
Because again, I don't know how many people are spending that aren't enthusiasts are spending $200 or more for a bottle either.
Totally.
So, okay, whiskey number 2, Connoisseur's Choice, one of the OG single malts, $200, 16 years, first fill sherry. So Sean, when you talk about that $10 a year, there's a few things. You don't have fruit flies, do you?
Yeah, there's one flying around.
Jesus Christ.
What? How?
20 below yesterday.
What the fuck is going on? I don't know. We had some bananas that were turning the corner.
Are you trying to create a microclimate for your plants?
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
Claire was suggesting.
Bring Claire back on. Dude.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about $10 a year, Sean, and then he said it's kind of going up to like 12 a bit. I agree. To me, $10 a year is like kind of out the window for the most part. And then I start to look at things like bourbon casks. Okay, maybe closer to $10 a year, hopefully. Probably still a little bit more for a true single cask strength. And then sherry casks, I go up.
Right.
So for me, when I'm looking at this without tasting it, I see 16-year Gordon MacPhail, the GOAT, $200. And I also look at the distillery. So if it's Tianinic or Glen Spey or whatever, you kind of like, well, I'm probably, but when you see Glenburgie, and most of us love Glenburgie, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm okay with that too. So when I look at this, 16 years, single cask, $200, I'm okay with that off the bat. That's my 2 cents.
Same here. It's as a fan, like I like Glenburgie, so $200 first fill sherry. I would probably buy this without tasting it, honestly. Around 200, I would 200
200 is that number that you and I talk about a lot. Sean's just like, 200, yeah. I'll buy it back.
But so it's funny story about this exact bottle. I had it on hold for like 2 months because it was right at that point where I was like, is it, it's Bergie. I know I like Bergie. It's sherry. I'm probably going to like it. But it was just one of those things where I was like, do I pull the trigger or not? And I still haven't. And it's still on hold.
Is it nuanced enough where you could say, I couldn't find something quite similar for 140 or 100? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's the challenge. And I think with us right now, drinking these 3 back to back, so I'm looking at the price point of the next one. That is where I'm struggling with this.
I was worried this debate would be boring, but it's actually kind of fun.
Dude,
This is quite complicated.
it's a hard one because I really like Glenburgie. I love sherry cask whiskey. So
I'm not putting this whiskey down ever.
no, not at all. Like, it's a really good whiskey. If I'm walking through a store without having tasted any of these and I'm looking at the price points, it might be a different story, but having tasted all 3, that is changing my influence a little bit here.
It's a little too close to being a sherry bomb. As much as I'm talking about a little bit more of a nuanced palate, it's a little too much of a sherry bomb for me to possibly spend $200.
That's what I'm saying. The problem is I'm looking at the price point of the next one.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. And
dude, and I love Glenburgie. Like, I really do. I love sherry cask whiskey, and this thing does everything I want it to do.
Have you wet Guinnessed it yet?
Not yet. I ran out of Guinness.
Yeah. I'll wet mouth it right now.
Okay, let's do number 3.
All right.
And let's come back. This is the most important part about what we do. 14 people are listening. They all have $200 in their pocket. They're like, tell us what to do, you guys, you whiskey influencers that don't matter, that really, really don't know what you're doing. Tell us what you think. So number 3 is a pretty much, and so all 3 of these, as far as we could tell, Sean, only available in Alberta, right? I did the same search, but
I think so.
Yeah.
I think these are just, and again, I had it as one of our topics, but independent bottlers in Canada, Alberta's kind of the shit. Ontario's not getting very much. Most provinces aren't getting much. So most of these good independently bottled stuff, if they're only getting 30 cases for the country, they're just sending them here.
100%.
People order them or whatever.
We see a limited amount in BC for sure.
BC's better than Ontario,
but it's not great.
But it's still better than Ontario. Trust me.
Yeah.
It is, because they still have the private side where they can do a little bit of fun stuff.
Right.
But anyways, in Alberta, this is $200. Sean looks like he's getting bored.
No, I'm checking to see if the fly was back.
Oh, Jesus, Sean. That's a Nocium. It's a Nocium or a Midgie.
A Midgie.
They're coming to get you again.
Don't bring up Midgies with him. Don't.
Did you hear Claire said the word?
Yeah.
Like the real word.
Yeah.
I know. I applaud her.
The heart with the heart.
She has nothing to lose. She has nothing to lose.
She has nothing to lose. Dude, we also saw no blowback from that.
Less to lose. She has less to lose. Those are her words, not mine.
The most blowback I got was when Erin listened to the first 3 minutes. She's like, "You did not say that." I'm like, well, it's
dude,
true.
Our wives will always be our hardest critics.
Yeah,
exactly.
We have not heard anything else, dude. People were loving that reel when I posted it.
Oh,
I said to everyone, we weren't making fun of. We were making fun of Sean.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Which is what we do on this podcast. Okay, whiskey number 3, North Star Caol Ila, 18 years, same price as the Glenburgie 16-year. Pinot Noir cask versus First Fill Oloroso. ABV is a little bit lower. Basically, same price.
Yeah.
And I think I know where this is going. Sean, what do you think?
It's probably a buy for me. It's 5 years with a Pinot Noir cask finish, and it's Caol Ila. It's at that point where peated whiskeys start to change in a good way. So yeah, like all three of these are probably buys at a specific time.
We can't do it. We can't do it. We have to have a.
Kalila's
We can't do.
If
We have to have one level. We have to have 3 levels, Sean.
Dude, oh fuck's sake.
We have to have a probably don't buy, maybe buy, and then a must buy. It's a really tough. I find this might be the toughest one we've had so far.
It is for sure.
honestly though, like, okay, if we're going into this blind, not tasting these, and I see the three on the shelf, I'm going North British must buy, Caol Ila a probably buy, and then the Glenburgie. I'm like, I hate saying it, but it would be the one that I would just leave there.
But that's without tasting, right? Like you're just walking through a store.
Yeah, but we've all tasted them.
See them on the shelves.
We've all tasted them.
Pick.
And people are looking at us for our opinions.
Dude.
Stop waffling.
It would be really hard to pass up this.
We've given James Bourne enough free advertising. If you're gonna put it as a don't, you don't have to say a don't buy. You put probably wouldn't buy. People are still gonna buy it. It's first fill sherry friggin' Bergie for $200, 16. People are gonna buy it.
People will buy it.
So I'm just saying we have to pick a lane here because I have a tracker and we have 3 ranks for every episode.
Okay, so here's my input on this.
Okay.
Like, if I have 2 $100 bills in my pocket and I walk into a liquor store, man, the North British is a nerdy buy.
The nerdy buy. I like that one.
Right? So that's like, dude.
Or my wife. Nerds or my wife would love it, I think.
Right? So I'm like, dude, I love Famous Grouse. I love North British. But that's fairly niche to me.
Yeah, but we're talking enthusiasts for the most part on this podcast.
Totally. So for me, I'm like, dude, I would love the North British for sure. Yeah. The Glenburgie is like super good whiskey, fairly predictable. I'm like, yeah, it does everything that I want it to do.
What did Rachel say in our group chat? It does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm tasting through all of these for the first time tonight on this podcast. Dude, if the Glenburgie and the Caol Ila are the same price point, if I only have 2 $100 bills in my pocket, I'm buying the Caol Ila.
I think you are too. I just had my last sip. The texture on that Caol Ila is so viscous too.
Dude, this is a fucking awesome whiskey.
Sean?
So not that it influences our decision at all, but WHISKYDROP is sold out of the Glenburgie, so they did sell it. And the Caol Ila, there's one left, and I'd be shocked if it's still there by the time this airs.
Well, it's not. That's 3 weeks from now. There's no way.
That's fair.
If I list it as a must buy, I have to buy it. That's kind of what I've been doing.
But that's kind of what I mean. Like, the Glenburgie does exactly what you think it will do. So if people that are enthusiasts kind of like Glenburgie, like sherry cask whiskey, they'll buy it. And
I'm just saying, Jer, are you really getting Glenburgie out of that?
Dude, I get a hint of it for sure. But
to me, that's just a very, very nice sherry cask, a delicious sherry cask whiskey. I just don't know if you can pull Glenburgie out of that.
That's fair, man. That is fair. Like when you're going with first fill sherry hogshead.
Yeah, it's like, 16 years first fill sherry. Like,
I could pull
Keen and Nick.
I could pull 10 whiskeys out of my collection that would kind of fit the bill for it.
Yeah.
But that's why it's sold out.
Yeah. It's sold out because people love that shit. And that's totally. We loved it. It's delicious.
It's awesome whiskey. If I only have 200 to spend and these three options are before me and they're like, pick one of them, dude, I'm picking the Caol Ila. Like this is, dude, it's fucking awesome.
We might have to change our ranking system just for this episode. To me, the easy buy is the North British. To me, for $120, I think you buy that whiskey and I think you're gonna be fine. And it's $120.
Totally.
Which these days is like
that's a spend on a whiskey.
It's the value buy.
Yeah.
It's no one I don't think is gonna be disappointed in that. So to me, the must buy is the Signatory North British. In my opinion, that's the must buy because it's $120 and you're going to get something cool and unique and fun with two different cask types, grain, single grain coming in. To me, that's the must buy. The you should probably buy for me is the North Star Caol Ila. And I only say you should probably buy because it's $200. We absolutely loved it, raved about it. If you have two $100 bills, you should probably buy it. I'm going to put the Glenburgie as a try before you buy, maybe. Like,
yeah,
and not because we didn't love it, but just because it might just taste a lot like some other sherried whiskeys you've had. And you might just say, oh, yeah, that tastes like other sherried whiskeys. That would be my thing.
I agree. That's why it's sold out, though. At drop, like people know kind of what they want and they're like, I'll like that.
G&M does not need
bought it.
G&M does not
totally.
And we're like we don't even want to knock it. We're like, don't buy. No, you could probably buy it. You know what?
Totally.
We'll have the new category. Try a tasting kit before you buy.
Yeah, 100%.
Buy a tasting kit.
Well, that's the beauty of it, is that you can try this, any of these three, you can try them all. And you can make up your own buy or not buy. But I so highly suggest that you do buy a tasting kit when it's available.
You know,
sure.
The ones from episode 3 and 4, as of earlier today, there was 14 left. They're already down to 9 or 10 left.
No way.
Yeah, they're moving. I mean, I think people are probably listening and they're like, oh shit, I want to try the Midgie. I keep telling people, you got to try the Midgie. You got to try that Victoriana, and you definitely got to try that Glenalky 12. Those three alone is worth buying the kit.
Totally.
You get 6 whiskeys. So
totally.
Okay, what's our final must buy?
I think you summed it up perfectly.
Are we doing the North British?
That's what I would put.
Bucks. It's $80 less, and we enjoyed it thoroughly.
120, buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Should probably buy Caol Ila.
Yeah.
And then try the tasting kit. You should buy a tasting kit.
Dude, honestly,
that's a new category.
This is the hardest one though, because that is a phenomenal whiskey that does everything you want it to do.
Yeah. No one would be disappointed if we had that. And we would actually pour it for so many people if we had on our shelves. But we would probably pour the Caol Ila and just be like, no, this one's really cool.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
That's fair. Okay. I like it. Well, I'll update the rankings in our tracker.
All right.
I think we did well. That I did not think this debate was going to be this much fun. That was better than I thought.
Yeah, totally.
Sean, what are your top 5 independent bottlers?
Okay.
I
want to go last.
I'll go first.
Here's going first.
Okay.
Top 5 IBs.
Let me pull it up here.
I think we're doing. I shouldn't even just. This led to a whole other debate, which I don't want to get.
It really did. I didn't even jump into the Signal chat. I was
no, yeah. yeah. So you do yours, Sean. I'll do, and then we'll talk about the sort of weird variables.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so when I think of IBs, one of the first that comes to mind is Old Perth. So I'll say Morrison.
Yeah.
Which kind of encompasses Old Perth, Carnmore.
Yeah.
I've had some fantastic bottlings from them. So they were the first to come to mind.
I invited you to that Old Perth tasting online during like COVID or something, and you were like, "These guys are awesome."
It changed my life.
Yeah,
because I was like, I have no business being here. Second for me would be Gordon and MacPhail. Like, dude, I haven't had a bad one.
they're the GOAT.
Yeah, they're the oldest, literally. Super good. And then I would say in BC, so I'm based in BC, Douglas Lang is one of the most, it's one of the ones that we can find the most here.
A lot of that was Stacy with Lionheart Spirits for a bit, and
100%
for a bit. Yeah,
like she did a really good job. I have a note here: the Old Particular series, in particular. Dude, I haven't had a bad one. So Douglas Lang, for me in BC, for sure gets a spot on the list. North Star Spirits made number 4 for me.
Nice.
Dude.
Actually, after tonight.
Yeah, like I've had some phenomenal whiskeys from them. And then I had like for number 5 spot, the trouble is that like there's many good IBs out there.
It gets very complicated, and we'll talk about it a bit more later.
Yeah, it really does. So the first 4 were clear cut for me. After that, it got a bit muddy. So I have Brave New Spirits, which I have loved the last 3 years. And then I mentioned a few others, like James Eady actually won a piece of my heart, starting with Trademark X. And like you
mentioned on last podcast too, actually.
Yeah, I've had some very memorable whiskeys from James Eady. So through them I mentioned, but like Berry Bros, have I had a bad one? I don't think so. Man, so my number 5 is like kind of a bit of a tie, but
no, you're being like Sean here. You're like, I have 40 categories.
Okay, fine. Brave New Spirits.
Brave New Spirits.
there we go.
I think Brave New Spirits. And so we were talking about it earlier. North Star is building a distillery. Brave New Spirits is building a distillery.
Yeah.
Both North Star and Brave New Spirits are building Campbelltown distilleries.
No way.
Yeah. So at first I was like, all these independent bottlers were building distilleries when they first started, like when Ardnahoe was being built and and I was like, oh, it's because they can't get casks anymore. And I think like, was that kind of the thing, was like, they can't get casks, so they want to make their own liquid so they can control their own destiny. And now I'm like, well, you can just probably get casks from anywhere right now. Like,
totally.
You would think. So are they now regretting that they went down this path, or are they like, no, this is now we get to bottle, we get to distill. It's kind of an interesting storyline.
We're in an interesting phase and timeline for sure. So, like the one I always go to is G&M buying Ben Romick.
Yeah, that was like early days. But to me, I'm like, dude, they have that distillate and their cask knowledge and influence going into what they could be releasing is a huge thing. And they have Cairn Distillery now too.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Sean, what were you saying, Sean?
I don't even know.
Jesus,
You go
Sean,
on.
you look fed up right now. The no-see-em is getting to you. You don't even have to fly tomorrow.
No, fuck the last one. That was a bad morning.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do mine. Jared, I have a couple in common with you. I'll just say, like, Gordon MacPhail is the GOAT. James Bourne. Talk to them, sponsor us. We talk about you guys on every episode. It's kind of getting out of hand. We might have to do like a episode where we're not allowed to talk about James Bourne or his brands. That'll be the Irish
Down.
episode. That'll be the Irish episode. Fuck you, James. We're not talking about you on the Irish episode. And if you have an Irish brand, we're not talking about you. James will be like, actually, I represent Guinness. Fuck. I also have Morrison Distillers. Obviously a personal tie, but before I was even like part of all, like, Old Perth
Yeah.
was like one of my early loves in this game. And Carnmore, when I was a rep, they were on the bottom shelves of every liquor store, and I kind of like made it my pride to bring them to the top. But Carnmore and Morrison Distillers, like, these guys used to own Bowmore Distillery.
Yeah.
They have ties in this industry. You don't hear about them because they don't publicly talk about it. But this is a family that is well connected in the industry, and they have crazy casks. Edmonton Scotch Club bottle, one of them. Highland Park cask, actually. Scotch Malt Whiskey Society,
Yeah.
probably my first love from independent bottlers, because I met Kelly, one of the owners here in Alberta, at a Keg and Cork event. She supported like the Edmonton Scotch Club early on. She supported Drams for Fams early on, but also just like the whiskeys were friggin'. Every time we poured one of their whiskeys, we were like, these are so cool. And that was kind of when I got into independently bottled whiskeys, was through SMWS. So they have to be on there. Compass Box. We can debate this after. Sean's saying they're not an IB. He's saying they're a blender. I'm saying they don't distill. They're an independent bottler. They literally independently bottle other people's whiskey. We can debate this later, but Compass Box, I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder, but like, I have so much, I can't do it. I have so much Compass Box. I love it. And then obviously it's not even biased anymore. I love this brand, but Single Cask Nation.
Yeah.
We have a Bowmore 21 coming. We have a Sherry Cask Glendronach 14 coming. I'm drinking a Manickmore 16 Sherry Cask. We did an Edmonton Scotch Club Linkwood 18 cask. These guys are sharing a warehouse with SMWS now. They're
awesome.
Awesome. We had Josh on last month. My honorable mentions are North Star. Absolutely love what they're doing. They were on the list. I put Compass Box and took them off. Sean's mad. And I have Turntable Spirits as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
So much turntable, and we did a whole turntable week in the Edmonton Scotch Club Advent. Love what they're doing. I think next year they could be in my top 5. Sean.
Yeah, totally.
Start telling us why we're wrong.
Yeah, okay, not a problem. I'll do my honorable mentions first. So I have Carnmore / Old Perth in my honorable mentions. Old Perth, they're mostly blenders. I don't count strictly blenders as independent bottlers. Again, this goes back to that argument that we had. 2 Stacks, yes, they blend, but they also independently bottle single source whiskeys. I didn't put them on my list, but they're up there. Another honorable mention is Signatory.
Stacks would be top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Signatory I gave an honorable mention just because I don't have a very big history with them. They're a big decanter in the black cases, always just were out of reach for me. I've tasted a lot. They're good. Another honorable mention is Master Malt / Boutique Whiskey. So they're now owned by the same company, Master Malt is releasing a ton of stuff under the Master Malt brand. They just haven't come to Canada as much. And Boutique now with their core range are definitely up there. Another honorable mention is Cooper's Choice. They were probably number 6 on my list. I have a ton of Cooper's Choice. It's what allowed me and Sean Yeg Whiskey Nights to connect. We connected through that brand. And they just bottle top quality stuff. The last honorable mention is Little Brown Dog. Now, we don't get them in Canada unless it's through auction, but what I find in auctions and what I've actually got myself, they have the coolest bottles and they are constantly producing top quality stuff. And then I have a couple, no, I'm not even going to go there. Okay, my top 5.
Are you just
number
listing
1.
every single independent bottler you bought in the last year?
No, I haven't bought any. Like some of these I haven't bought this year.
And Little Brown Dog has, like, we actually spoke with them at one point. The coolest bottles,
dude. Just like,
I know they have like the grooves in them, but the coolest.
It's literally a bottle covered in dogs.
Oh shit! Okay, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And like they do like offshoots of just like the single cast where it's like little Brune Coo, like the brown cow, and like the Dunket, I don't know, for blends and stuff. But anyways, I hope that they come to Canada because what I can see online, they do some cool stuff.
We did talk to them.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, hopefully that means they're coming.
Top 5.
Number 1, Gordon MacPhail. Number 2, I put SMWS and Single Cast Nation together because they share warehouse. Number 3,
kind of cheating.
What?
Kind of cheating.
Yeah, well, it's all coming from the same place. Number 3, Brave New Spirits. Number 4, again, Jeremy Douglas Lang. And number 5, North Star Spirits. And I wrote that list this morning.
Very interesting. Brave New Spirits. Paul Dempsey, very nice man. I don't know when their distillery is. Is it fully functional now?
I don't think so. If it is, like, they just started producing.
Yeah. I love what they're doing with their bottles. They produce some cool shit.
What I find with my top 5 is like 4 out of the 5 have different lineups coming from the brands. It's like Brave New Spirits. They have the Voodoo line. They have the Cask Noir line. They have the, like, whatever they call the comic book line. Like, they have a bunch of different stuff. Now they have Cask Mates, I believe, is one of their lines. Douglas Lang, obviously, they have the regional malts. They have Old Particular. They have a ton. SMWS, SCN, yeah. Gordon MacPhail, they have, everything from the budget bottles that are $80 to, obviously the oldest whiskey in the world. So you can get anything from Gordon MacPhail in any price range, basically. So that kind of went into my thought process as well.
I'd say we're all in our snack mode now, so maybe it's time to start to wrap this up.
I'm hungry.
John, Little Brown Dog was a little bit off the beaten path, but I like it. Because I know the guys doing the stuff there are very cool people.
It's just like one, like, kind of, if I had a one to watch, it would be that one.
Yeah. No, if they come to Canada, great, but it's such a tough market. The independently bottled whiskey market is so friggin' competitive. And it's price point. So it's like, what are you paying for those casks? And how much does it cost to get it to the market you want to be in? And it's extremely competitive. February whiskey events. Guys, we got a big one. Single Cast Nation tasting at Keg and Cork Liquor, featuring myself and Bearded Dave. We're going to co-host 2 days before Valentine's Day. It's a Thursday. We'll be pouring the new releases that are coming out like right away here. Whiskey Wonderland. Neither of you are coming, are you?
Nope.
February 19th to 21st. It's in Ottawa. TD Place. I'll be there. Bearded Dave will be there. Joshua from Single Cast Nation will be there. And we're going to have a masterclass. We're going to have a table. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. It's actually a very fun event. So hopefully come hang out. I think tickets are still on sale. They got to be. But this episode will air February 1st. So maybe it'll be sold out by then. I don't know. Comox Whiskey Festival. Jeremy, that's close to you. Have you ever gone to that one?
No, never heard of it.
No, it's apparently pretty like long running. How close is Comox to Langley?
5
Across the water.
Yeah. Oh, Comox. Yeah, it's on the island.
Oh, it's on the island.
4 hours.
Well, you should go. February 6th, Comox Whiskey Festival. Comox Valley Whiskey Fest. Long running. This one's March, but it's early March, but it's a big one. Winnipeg Whiskey Festival. Apparently it sells out every year. So I thought we'd give them an early heads up. March 6th, 7th. Get your tickets. Winnipeg actually has like a sneaky kind of like cool whiskey scene. There's a couple clubs out there that I've communicated with, and they actually there's some pretty hardcore whiskey peeps out there.
It's a cool city. Period.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Winnipeg's great.
Yeah.
Poor Decisions Whiskey Club. This airs on February 1st. It's tomorrow night, February 2nd. At what's the bar called, Sean?
Evo Wonder Lounge.
Evo Wonder Lounge. You might still be able to get tickets. They usually let people come late. And that's it for events.
Who's hosting that?
I texted them and they did not get back to me. So it's a top secret surprise until February 1st.
Nice.
Whiskey Club shout out. They didn't reply to me. I sent an email yesterday. I kind of forgot about it. Sent an email yesterday, but I don't think they like check their club email all that often. So I'm just shouting out to my own club, Edmonton Scotch Club. 10 years running, 44 members, including member number 44, Sean Kincaid. 3 casks we've bottled in 10 years. 10 years as of 2025. And our claim to fame is Drams for Fam. So we've raised over $150,000 for the Edmonton Food Bank in 10 years. That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Best part, man. Best part.
Yeah. Great shout out, Travis. Tasting kits. Sean, give the people the info on the tasting kits.
Yeah, so for episodes...
Jared's just crushing chips.
Dude,
Yeah, I know.
I'm devouring these.
My snacks were silent. I had red wine, salami, and Kerrygold cheese because I knew that it wouldn't make any noise, unlike Jeremy. But
when I'm podcasting, I eat marshmallows. Nice and silent.
I'll just mute my mic while I chomp on these.
Yeah, tasting kits for episodes 3 and 4. They're available as of today. 9 left, and by the time this airs, they will probably be closed and sold out. So then, this episode and our next episode, which, hint, it's an Irish episode for March 1st. Those two will be together, available March 1st when that episode drops. So yeah, and that's all at Whiskey Drop.
The kits are selling out. So
Yeah.
when you're listening to the episode and you hear us talking about the kit, go to whiskydrop.ca, search last call, and just grab the kit because they're selling out by the time people get to like the later episode. So Whiskey Drop Club of the Month. Jeremy, do you want there's not much. I don't know. Do you want?
So it's we're featuring the PEAT Enthusiast, We have here $149 every 2 to 6 months. Is that right?
Yeah, so you can be it's not a monthly club. It's every 2 months.
Okay.
You can subscribe to get delivery every 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or 6 months, I believe.
Very cool. So if you love peated whiskey, this could be a good option for you.
Yeah, 140.
Dude, that's great. $149 every do you pick the interval?
Yeah, you pick whatever you want for the interval. There's literally a checkbox.
Oh yeah, that's
they
great.
Send you a peated whiskey, delivery included, everything for $149 a month. You don't even have to. Again, I tell people, like, if you're just kind of getting into whiskey, this is the way to do it.
Totally.
You
100%.
get to try new stuff all the time. But you got to like Pete for this one.
Yeah.
Got to like Pete.
Definitely.
That's it. We covered everything, you guys.
All right.
We really
Let's
did.
go.
We are the champions. Parting glass, February plans. What do we got going on?
Getting back into work, man.
In February? You didn't do that in January?
The routine. We're ramping up for spring for sure.
Oh. Is it?
I got a kid. What?
I was just gonna say, like, why the spring in Vancouver? Isn't it just always nice there in BC?
The rain tapers off.
Oh, I see. Easier for shooting.
Easier for shooting. We've had at this point, we had a crazy wet winter so far.
You guys had like those, what are they called? Hemorrhaging floods or something like that?
Atmospheric rivers. That's what we call them here. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. So it gets easier to get back to shooting. February picks up for us for sure.
Sweet. Sean?
I don't have a lot. I will be basically working 3 out of the 4 weeks in the month. Gearing up for St. Paddy's Day. Already lined up a bunch of tastings for the week of, and just getting all that lined up together.
So next episode, all Irish.
Yeah.
We're even looking at a double interview. If we do a double interview, we could be in trouble. We might actually have to be strict with our timelines.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe if we get the interviewer after, maybe we just do one. And just try and
I think so.
Keep him or her on for an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe she's going to be someone who's like, no, I don't have time for you. You get 10 minutes. It's just possible.
Perfect.
Kate, parting glass. Derek, cue the music.
It's on.
What are you snacking on right now?
I am snacking on a.
That's what the parting glass is about. What are you snacking on?
A Costco-sized bag of tandoori barbecue Miss Vicky's chips.
Tandoori barbecue?
I've never had them before. They're fucking awesome.
You bought a Costco-sized bag of chips of something you never tried before.
100%.
Here's what I bought.
I'll roll the dice on Miss Vicky's for sure. Oh, dude, my son, that's his favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, show us your.
Funny enough, we were talking about crispers today. Do you remember when they first came out and it was like, is it a chip? Is it a cracker?
Crispers are a cracker.
Yeah, you buy them in the cracker aisle. You don't buy them next to the bags of chips.
Yeah, no, they're in the cracker aisle for sure. What are you snacking on, Sean?
Well, I crushed my Kerrygold cheese and red wine salami.
You're so fucking fancy.
So fancy. You must have been influencer of the year 1 year.
As soon as this podcast is over, what are you going to eat?
I'm probably going to crush a bowl of Golden Grams.
Golden Grams? You're going to eat cereal?
Yeah, man.
I don't know if I could eat cereal with it.
Dude, I would do like instant ramen for sure, something warm.
Yeah.
Like you would do or you are going to do?
Probably will do. Yeah.
So here's a fun. I'm probably gonna have another chimichanga, but I actually had one earlier today because I was just in a rush. But I was so careful not to burn my mouth this time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, my whole mouth was burnt, and I knew we were recording, so I cut it in half and then just walked away for 5 minutes because I didn't want to ruin my mouth for the podcast, and I succeeded.
Smart.
That's experience right there. Experience speaking right there.
We're really learning. All right. See you guys in March for Sean's favorite month of the year.
Hell yeah.
He's going to count down his top 500 Irish whiskeys he's ever tasted.
And it's my birthday in March, too.
Really?
Sweet.
March 2nd, baby.
Oh, the day after the podcast.
Yep.
Sweet. I hope everyone had a great Robbie Burns. I hope everyone had a great January. Happy New Year. Can we still say that?
Totally.
It's still like the first week. Yeah, we're on the. We can still say it now, but it's not going to make sense on February 1st.
Agreed.
Yeah, we can still say it. Fuck them. Fuck everyone.
Yeah,
We
should
do
be more
what we
like
want here.
we should be more like Claire. We have nothing to lose. Fuck everyone.
Totally. 100%.
All right, we better shut this.
Just family.
Close it all down. Say goodnight, Lockie. We're done.
The Last Call Whiskey Podcast is sponsored by WHISKYDROP Canada. Don't forget that every 2 episodes, you'll be able to order a kit through WHISKYDROP where you can taste through all of the whiskeys that we taste on this podcast. And special thanks to our friends Really Jiggered for the use of their recording of Parting Glass in this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Good night.